All right, so I don't understand why they are on Fire Sky Ruins, because like
Mate.
it's in the sky and that's Rayquaza,
Mate.
but we're getting Groudon. That
Mate.
should be on the floor, bro.
I understand what you're saying, but, buddy, I think one thing you've missed is that it's fight night, baby! We can get to discussing Groudon and Rayquaza just a little bit later. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, trainers of all ages, welcome to Unite Fight Club. My name is Lobo. I'm joined by Big Daddy Tano. My guy, it's early for me, it's late for you, but we got some battling to get to. How you feeling today, buddy?
I'm very excited, mate. I'm very much enjoying these Unite Fight Clubs. It's hyped to be here for the UFC Pokemon Unite Fight Club. And yeah, I feel like we've got a hype one tonight, buddy. We've got Cafe Du Martin versus Leftovers OP. And then we have two new teams that are going to be showing face with plenty of names that people will recognize. So incredibly excited for how this is going to shape up tonight, buddy. Will we get a game 5, though? That's the question, mate.
Buddy, just to recap what we went through it wasn't even last week. It was on Tuesday for me, Monday for you, because we are an international event. Well, mostly this is taking place with EU teams, but I am the international representation for this one. We had a banger series going all 5 games, which I think that entire set ran us about 2 hours. And then our next set, we're like, bro, our voices are hoarse. We're like, give us a break. It got finished over in a nice quick 3-0. So anything can happen here at the UFC, the Unite Fight Club. We're super excited, but I think we're going to get straight into our first games. Everything's still working, tinkering behind the scenes. Like we mentioned on the very first stream, we are aiming to highlight individual players here as well as teams. We want to make sure that the individual players are getting their flowers. So we're collecting all the data, we're collecting all the stats from all these players, and we actually have a panel of judges that are going to provide a rating for these players, a ranking system. Now, that can be a little bit controversial, I know, Tano, getting them little player ratings. However, this is all in the benefit of the motivation to improve Unite across this region. We're starting over here in the EU region. Other regions are coming to call it. Don't worry, the UFC is coming your way. But we have a very special format that we follow here, Tano, don't we? That gave us a lot of excitement. Do you want to take us through our favorite draft format that we're going through tonight?
Yeah, let's bring it on up. I believe production is shouting at me that we're doing schedule first. So let's bring that one up, please.
That's my bad. That's my bad. That's my bad.
Hey, bro, it's all good. It's like, what, 4 a.m. in the morning for you, bro? And the hype is off the charts, mate. So it's all good. This is our schedule for the day, chat. We have Leftovers OP first taking on Cafe Du Martin. That will be an extremely hyped game. Cafe Du Martin are a very comfortable, very strong team doing quite well in the EUL. Leftovers OP are newish to the EUL, but they've been doing very well indeed. So this is going to be a hype best of 5 to kick us off. And then to finalize it for the night, we've got Clifty Stack versus Anomaly. And we'll go through those teams when the time is due. I'm very excited to announce those teams to you all.
I'm so excited. We got to watch Cafe Du Martin and Leftovers OP go at it earlier on in the week, and now they're going to come clash to clash and fight it out against themselves in a best of 5. Both games are a best of 5 tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I believe CLFTY Clifty, I'm going to say it. Can you imagine spelling out at every time? Taking on Anomaly is going to be a fun one. I'm not too sure about these teams. Haven't seen too many of the players, but I'm very, very excited to go through. Now, Tana, this is what I asked you to explain to us before. We've got ourselves a fearless draft, ladies and gentlemen.
We do. It is back by popular demand. People love it when we have these tournaments that have Fearless Draft involved. And as you can see from the graphic, what it basically means, and this is per team, by the way, you are not allowed to pick the Pokemon that you have previously drafted. So those 5 Pokemon you pick in match 1, you can no longer pick for the rest of that set. And that will continue to go for the entirety of it. So if we go all the way to match 5, like we did on Monday, buddy. We will have a total of 20 Pokemon banned on out for each team. So that's 40 Pokemon in total, Lobo. And we've got 78 Pokemon on the roster. That's insane.
Man. 78, still growing. Latias has hit the Sky Ruins. Pokémon is coming up next, but we've got an amazing trio of Pokemon coming up as well with Empoleon, Delmise, and the ever fan favorite Vaporeon coming through. Fearless Draft gave us such a good go of it last. I keep saying last. It was only 2 days ago for us, but it feels like forever without any Unite action going on. So we're super excited to see how these teams are going. I think these teams are in the lobby, so we're going to get that match started off as soon as possible. But something we definitely have to mention, Tano, my boy, as these players are be cooking on Thea Sky Ruins and trying to cook each other in the fires of battle, we have ourselves a little sponsor that can help you do a little bit of cooking yourself. We are so excited to be partnered with HelloFresh. How cool is that? They are sponsoring the UFC. And as you can see in the little graphic below me, if you use that promo code, which Tano and I, we're trying to figure out, do we just say the word or do we just say the individual letters? POGHF, POGHF 162760. You use that code, that promo code will get you 10 free meals plus a few add-ons for free. HelloFresh helping you cook some fire meals in the kitchen while you cook your opponent to a cindering ember. I'm really excited for that, bro. Have you ever tried HelloFresh?
I have tried HelloFresh actually, and this promotion has tempted me and my partner to sign back on up to it, buddy, because we did enjoy it. It's fantastic, and the free add-ons, who wouldn't want free garlic bread for life, bro? It's more than you could ask for as these teams get ready to cook up on Thea Sky Ruins. Now, what I do want to know, Lobo, so we were here 2 days ago, as we call, and we saw a lot of action going on. We saw incredibly impressive teams. I want to know if there's anyone, especially from these two teams coming up right now, that maybe you felt like was quite impressive, that you felt did a very good job. For me, I'll kick it on off. Cafe Du Martin have always been a strong team from what I've been seeing throughout this season. But I've got to say, Cascade is one of my favorites, buddy. I think Cascade... You were going to take it?
I was going to say Cascade. You took the words out of my mouth like a Sableye taking points away from an opponent. But... Again, okay, fine. You've taken Cascade. Cascade put on a fantastic performance. But for me, there's going to be 3 players. I don't mean to one-up you, but I'm going to do it anyway. So for me, obviously, there was the first one that comes to mind was Japer from as well Cafe Du Martin. Put on an absolutely fantastic performance throughout all of their games. But I'd also like to give a little bit of a shout out to our support players. First of all, we've got from Mia Familia was Galne Gunner. Really stuck into my mind as well. And then they did get subbed a little bit early on. So we got to see them play for a few games. But Bidapig as well. We have watched them play, I believe, in the EUL as well. Part of a new team and coming through and showing such confidence to come through there. Hooper playing was fantastic. So big shout outs to those 3 players. But mate, we have more players on our side. Cafe Du Martin on your orange side. Leftovers OP on your purple side. Charizard is the most popular ban I have seen in the most recent days.
I think we're going to continue to see that ban coming on out, bro. Now, Leftover OP, chat. This is the first time that we're going to see them really go at it in the Unite Fight Club. This team have been very impressive coming out of the gate recently, and I like them a lot. Traffy, very good at keeping at range and dropping down that ranged attack damage. Dakira is a brilliant tank, as we saw in the game 2 days ago, buddy. Being able to block off people, shut down those routes of attack onto their own team. So I'm excited to see what they're going to pick up here. They do love that Blastoise, so it would not surprise me. Although having Snorlax available, it'll be an interesting choice.
I mean, you might have called it just there. I also remember Dekira playing a fantastic Mamoswine game. Volto, also a player we have seen a lot of alongside Showmaker. So a lot of these players really stuck into our minds just a few days ago. And getting to see them again straight away, Voxer is going to pick up Ho-Oh, a Pokemon that was actually banned for 4 or 5 games in a row in our very first set. Hooper has been allowed through. Eldegoss, another Pokemon that is making its way into these fearless drafts because it is a supporter that goes completely I want to say just uncontested. It's such a good supporter, but Cascade is going to pick up the queen. She's going to make some people kneel over on Leftovers OP.
The thing is, a Cascade getting access to their Serena is scary, mate. They are very, very strong on Serena. One of their favorite Pokemon with that Aegislash. So you've got a very capable all-rounder player that is very good at their micro play and their macro play to boot on one of their strongest picks. Japer is going to lock in that Espeon, so they're going to have a little bit more range themselves. They've got access to that Psyshock, pairing that with Psybeam if they want to disrupt those team fights. And can you believe that here on the Unite Fight Club, we have Showmaker picking up this Tinkerton?
Look, Showmaker put on a show a few days ago with a few incredible performances with all-rounders, but he's going up against someone who also put on a show with the big beefy bug, Buzzswole, and that is Volto. Volto got access to that bug, who's going to probably be paired inside that top lane with that Hooper, which is going to be an interesting one because that's a good combination that you want, whether we see Trick or Hyperspace Hole, because we saw a lot of Hooper Highways being activated, those toll roads getting real busy on Thea Sky Ruins. But Traffy, look at what he's picked up, buddy. That's a Greninja right off the gate.
I'm very happy with that. I love to see these Pokemon coming out. And the thing is, we're in Fearless Draft, buddy. You've got to remember, Leftover OP took it all the way to their 5th game to get themselves to beat Do You Like Pineapple. So you've got to look at it as they took it all the way. They knew they were going to be reduced to certain amounts of Pokemon because Fearless Draft means you can't pick up the rest. So Traffy pulling this out in game 1 with a pick that they're very comfortable on. You can see that gold badge, bro. We both can
look at all the
that.
gold badges, buddy. Look at them all. There's a lot of gold badges, some gold shining on Thea Sky Ruins today. But I want to talk to you, buddy, before we get really into that, just loading on in. This is really interesting as opposed to just 2 days ago when we saw the drafts. The first game drafts were very stock standard, competitive meta style drafts, whereas this, even just 2 days in, these players are making the adjustments to Fearless Draft. We're seeing Tinkerton, we're seeing Greninja, we're seeing Eldegoss come out to play with your other stock standard Pokemon like Ho-Oh and like your Snorlaxes as well. So the fact that these players are already adapting to Fearless Draft, and the fact that they're now doing a second stream, that they're going to be on their second set of 5, it's great adaptation. It's going to give them a good advantage going forward as we get further and further into this UFC. But Ho-Oh wanted to start throwing some punches in that enemy team central area early on.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Hey, they've got the health pool for it, buddy, and if they do get KO'd, they've at least pulled quite a lot of people their way to cause it to happen. Daikira is going to come on up, and they do find that KO, but there's an evolution in that bottom lane, and it's just allowed them to grab all of their own farm uncontested to get close to that first Evo.
I mean, Ho-Oh is used to reviving other Pokemon. Ain't no reviving itself here. Nice little steal by Traffy there to take that away from the little Tinkertink. Still hasn't got access to that big hammer, so ain't no bopping nobody just yet. But we're closing on that 850 Bs. The Buzzswole is here. Mewtwo, Nolan is making their way up to that top lane. It's going to be a 4v2 situation, but a 1v3 down inside the basement lane.
Yeah, and it ain't going to be easy for them. It is going to be Psyshock that comes out of Japer. Now, keep an eye on that one, buddy, because that is a skill shot move, but it's going to be so important for these team fights. You hit that stun if you get all of them on a targeted Pokemon, and then if you hit the Psybeam, it will spread that stun throughout the entire of the enemy team if they're close enough. So they could be very important skill shots coming out from Japer.
No, I agree with you 100%. But Ho-Oh, again, just going to keep these little central area invades going, stopping Greninja from getting any kind of farm. It keeps Daikira out of the lane, which means there's no presence in that bottom lane. But on the other side, Nolan, turnabout is fair play. Going to try and steal some points and aura away from the queen herself. But Buzzwole, already level 6. That's going to be hard to deal with as Ho-Oh Voxo looks to be almost caught out again. But can Ho-Oh make it out? No, it does not.
Ooh, does enable Cascade to go on in though and look for that farm. Unfortunately though, they run into the arms of Buzzwole, and Volto finds the KOs with the assistance from Nolan, and that is going to be leftover OP cooking Cafe Du Martin in that bottom lane. We do see Voxo coming on back here, trying to see if they can help on regards to this Ho-Oh, and it's too big, too chunky of a bird for them to be able to push it off that pad.
What partner do you need more if you're a queen than a big legendary phoenix-like bird that can rise from the ashes? Here we go. All of that middle farm is going to be soaked up by Volto and Traffy with a Hooper here just to provide the assistance. Tinkerton does not have access to that hammer just yet, so no more big bonks for them. But the defense on Leftovers OP's basement lane, tier 1, doesn't matter. I think that Kira's made that move very intelligently twice right now, as we do get a super swell slam onto the Tinkerton. Daikira's just let them have those points, buddy, and just making sure that he doesn't give any experience away by getting KO'd.
Yeah, I like it. I gotta say, I think Daikira was my player of the tournament on Monday, buddy. So I'm so excited to see that they come out the gate yet again, doing the same thing that they did on Monday. It's just the way that they disrupt any kind of plan that Cafe Du Martins have when it comes down to the fight, when it comes down to a push. We do see a good effort from Ho-Oh trying to take that red Jalecki, but it's Buzzwole that shuts them out, pushes them away with the smackdown, and they want to go for more here. Fire Spin is going to come on through. That shield will keep Voxo around for a while as Cafe Du Martin look to regroup and push on up here. Japer with the side shock from a different postcode finds the KO. There's the Psychic Solaire as well, pushing away the Buzzwole, but Superpower is going to come through, using none other than the Ho-Oh to target their own Pokemon, but they do get KO'd as Cascade has come up to show face. They say kneel over to Traffy, and with the side shock raining down destruction, it's going to be a triple KO for Japer, and Cafe Du Martin want to get themselves in the lead of this game.
Everything in that series of events that just started was from a beautiful side shock from Japer to take down Mewtwo Y. Mewtwo Y not able to provide that A-pressing suppressive fire. Volto is going to try and get a little bit of revenge here to just slam down Azito in that side, that top path. But really great pressure coming out from Cafe Du Martin. But Leftovers OP, not going to let that go unpunished. They're going to try and return the favor.
Oh, disrupted there by Japer yet again. These Pokemon, these ranged Pokemon, can be so difficult to play in this current Pokemon meta because you have all-rounders in your face, you have defenders in your face, left, right, and center, buddy. But Japer has perfectly kept themselves at range. They've been uncontested because of the wall that is Voxo in their face, and they've got the KOs to show for it.
Yeah, look, Voxo is just too much of a wall right now, and Japer is just not missing with any of these side shocks. But here and now, it's time, game time, gut check time. Hooper has called roll. Everyone's going to come through except for Volto, who's going to try and get some stacks inside that top path, but it does not matter. Cafe Du Martin is going to push Leftovers OP out to the left side. Snorlax with a big block. Hooper is still up unbound. There goes the Water Burst Shuriken. Can Japer get it? No! It does come from a boosted auto coming out from a Greninja. Quinley Ascendant does go through, but gets slammed down. Super Soul Slam does try to hit its mark, but no! That does not matter. Gets bogged down by the Queen and the Hammer. They are now pushing forward towards this basement pad. 5 points in, 31 overduck. That's 26. 177 to 81, and these guys are not done fighting just yet, Tano.
Yet again, Daikira in the center of that fight, but he pushes up not only the Tinkerton, but Ho-Oh too. Takes a quick power nap to boot, and they do get away. No, they get KO'd, and it's going to be the Psychic Solaire that buys a little bit of space for Cafe Du Martin here. Japer sets up, gets in front of everyone, and protects the entire team. What more could you want from your ranged attacker as Voxo continues to try and take what they can from Leftover OP?
I just want to have a look. Just shout out the positioning between Eldegoss and Japer on that Espeon. Espeon is far enough to hit those side shocks, but then beautifully play Psychic Solaire like my beautiful casting partner just mentioned. But now See, Volto cannot even get close unless he gets burned to a crisp by Ho. Gets pushed back. Is Japer going to get a stun or no? But Volto is in the middle of his move. What a Shuriken does manage to take down Japer, and now this is an opening for Leftovers OP. Can they push the pressure and break this basement pad? Because here we go. Trappy going to try and break it even with 50, but the Queen stops it.
Oh, Cascade stands up on point, stops that score coming through, but unfortunately, they are pretty deep in the back line of Leftover now. They use the Queen Ascenders here just to try and get themselves that shield they were looking for back onto their pad. And what a brilliant way for Cafe du Martin to defend that pad, Lobo. That was going to be a 50 dunk, breaking it, but Cascade disrupts them, goes into the back line, ends up in a situation they don't want to be in, and still manages to get out with no scores going in that pad.
I think Cascade did have to use that Queenly Ascended Unite move. Not sure when it happened, if it happened directly on that 3-minute mark. But now, inside that top path, have a look at that mini-map. We do have Serena and Eldegoss trying to take down Volto on its own pad. Eldegoss might suffer the consequences here, but Tinkerton is here with the hammer to bring it down. Snorlax, Dakira is chasing Eldegoss for all the livelong day, but Traffy managed to get a KO on Tinkerton, sending them back to Nurse Joy. Leftovers OP can do this Regieleki for free, and now Cafe du Martin have a decision on their hands. Ignore it, because there's 5 seconds left to go for Rayquaza with barely 5 points in this game, Tano. This one might pop off. This is game 1 in your best of 5 in your first match of the stream. Let's take it over. This Rayquaza fight looks like it's about to heat up.
Oh my god, that Lecky went in, meaning Leftovers were in the lead. The Hundo Burger is going to go on through, and it's going to be a KO for Cascade, managing to find Mewtwo. Now they're on the upper hand, buddy. Cafe du Martin, it's a 5v4. Looks like they want to go for a rip here onto the Rayquaza. Fox Show holding up the entirety of the team. Psychic Slayer comes through, but not before the Swole Slam does. Looking to take down Traffy here. They do eventually find Japer, but they're going to have to back on up. Volto's no longer in this fight. It's all about what Dakira can do to disrupt them, and it's worked. They try and get themselves out of the position, but the Queen Ascenders is going to take down Buzzwole. Cafe du Martin have to rip this Rayquaza now if they want to win this game. We do have them coming in on the side of Leftover OP. Mewtwo Y is back. Infinite Cyburn is going to drop. They take out the carry. Greninja no longer in this fight means Cafe du Martin have the secure unless it's Dakira that can find it, but no! Cascade utilizes their micro and they find the KO onto Rayquaza.
What a beautiful sequence of a Rayquaza fight. Had to point out that Traffy managed to use the Hooper Unbound portal to not only get himself out of a very sticky situation, but retreat back to pad. Managed to come back in, but just got spotted by all members of Cafe du Martin. Cascade won the 1v1 against Volto and came back in to manage to secure that Rayquaza in all of the chaos that went on. Bro, a lot of amazing individual performances that just went on, and we're at game number 1 as these guys just decide to fight out a little bit more on that pad with 10 seconds. That timer calling down. Cafe du Martin looking very, very strong at game number 1.
I gotta say though, mate, I'm having flashbacks to Monday. I feel like this is a game that can go all the way, mate. That was impressive from both sides. And I gotta say, of course, everybody pays attention to the all-rounder players, to those heavy carries that you see, but I can't keep my eyes away from these defender players that we're witnessing here, Lobo. When I'm seeing Voxshow on that Ho-Ho, when I'm seeing Dakira on that Snorlax, I can't keep my eyes off the way that they are getting these engages in and being the front line that their team desperately needs.
Well, it's again, you're playing the role of the Pokemon, right? Ho is supposed to be in your face, doing what you have to do. And again, I talked about it earlier on in the game, the positioning of Japer between, I believe it was Ho-Oh and Eldegoss, not only firing off Psyshocks, stunning the main carries on their team, but then also not afraid to Psychic Solaire in when the defenders are low health, giving Eldegoss time to heal Ho-Oh back up, and then still maintaining the amount of health to get out of that. The positional sense was absolutely fantastic. Also, take nothing away from Leftovers OP. This is something I wanted to point out in the middle of the game. We had Volto on the Buzzwole to start inside that central area. Then Traffy took over after the first rotation. And those two players maintained the same level. The two if you want to call them the hyper carries for the side of Leftovers OP, those two, the Buzzsaw and the Greninja, staying at the same level throughout the entire game, whereas you saw Cascade and Japer getting a beautiful series of KOs. Look at that, 7 KOs, 7 assists for Japer, was actually the highest level on their team at one point. And so I really like the way they controlled the levels on the side of Leftovers OP, but then the positional sense and the wherewithal to know where your teammates were from Cafe Du Martin was just invaluable to me. So such a nice contrast between two really good teams and very well-rounded players.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one, but if that's what this set is going to go like, I am so excited for more. It was pretty impressive. How do Leftover OP bounce back? Because of course, chat, we have a fearless draft. So these Pokemon that you have seen these teams play right now, they won't be playing them again in this set. Now, Leftover OP could play the Pokemon that Cafe Du Martin have, of course, but they're not going to be playing those picks. And this is why we talk about how they've adjusted to this fearless draft that you talked about, Lobo. And I'm with you. It's such a good shout from these players. And they know that this is a best of 5. It's not a best of 3. In fearless draft with best of 3, you do expect them to still go for those really heavy meta Pokemon because it's only 3 games, realistically. In best of 5s, especially Cafe Du Martin know Leftover OP took Do You Like Pineapple to the 5th game. They know that a lot of these Pokemon are going to be taken away. So you have to be way more mindful and way more adjusting on what Pokemon you can use out of the gate.
I mean, and Fearless Draft gives us such a good insight into these players' move pool. We saw when we first went into that into the game, we saw all the gold badges that were on these teams. So, and again, these are Pokemon that maybe are not the strongest in the meta right now. Evolutions have always been quite strong in the meta at the moment. However, Espeon, as good as its kit is with Psyshock and Stored Power, still not seeing a lot of play. Right? Because they're just Pokemon that can do it better. But what I'm loving seeing is these attackers coming back into the forefront. Also, Tinkerton. We watched 8 games 8 games 2 days ago, which means that's over, I'm gonna say, what, 5 Pokemon or 10 Pokemon each game. That's 80 Pokemon to choose from. And we didn't see a single Tinkerton at all 2 days ago. And Showmaker, again, putting on a show. Tinkerton struggled to get online, but again, survived. And this, just as we look at the highlights of this Rayquaza fight, no way for Mewtwo to get in. Hoping Rayquaza was a little bit lower before it used its infinite Psyberm. Psystrike came out from Mewtwo as well. Onto them, bounced them up, but again, it was Cascade. Cascade coming in again, but no more access to that queen that they're so very fond of.
Yeah, well, that's it, and this is why, you know, they as you talked about, they had that flexibility upon them, mate. Because Serena is one of their strongest Pokemon. They love so many all-rounders. Aegis Slash will be coming out. You can guarantee that at some point, buddy. And these other teams are going to know that, like, the picks that they like to come out with. These two teams specifically, but a lot in the EU region at the moment have been competing with each other for quite a while. You've got scrims that go on. You've got tournaments that go on. So they are aware of each other. And when you have a best of 5, like you have in this Unite Fight Club, you have a lot of VODs, a lot of history that you can look at and how a team works. So if you bring out that kind of knowledge with you into these games, then that's what they're going to try and do, because you're going to have access to these people playing Pokemon that they don't usually play in a normal tournament, because it's fearless draft. And that's one of the many reasons we love it, mate.
What I also love about it is that it's going to force you onto Pokemon that possibly you didn't think that you would enjoy playing, but now it's in that role that you have to play it. And obviously now, guys, you can see it below us on the little match card below. You can see which Pokemon that the teams are not allowed to pick. Picking them is an instant game loss, but we already have a change-up. Charizard allowed out of ban jail. Ho gets sent right back in. And I'm not surprised that Cafe Du Martin do not want to let them have Ho-Oh. But Latios has also been let out, with Snorlax entering the ban jail in its place.
I was going to say, will we see a Latias? No, not when Charizard can be picked here, buddy, and not when Showmaker has the opportunity to grab it out of the gate. So Yet again, interesting picks here. Traffy is going to have access to that Latios that they were so confident on. But we do finally see Latias coming out to play as well as Alito. I haven't seen this Pokemon in a tournament setting at all, Lobo. So I'm very excited to see this. I feel like people think it is pretty weak compared to the other supporters out on the field. But we're about to see what Azalito can do with it.
Charizard, again, probably one of the most popular Pokemon to be picked, but I love the fact that as soon as we see a Charizard, the first Pokemon we're going to see is a Slowbo. Access to that Slow Beam. It pins that dragon that's not a dragon right in place. Japer looking to come out with a Venusaur? Am I crazy, or are we going to see a Petal Dance Venusaur? Because that is an eject button. So I'm assuming that might be a Solar Beam Venusaur. Vulture going to go with Trevenant, creating that nice little grass combination. Volto pick Leafeon. Now, Leafeon is one of the most terrifying Pokemon early game. Let's see. And Volto is probably one of the most terrifying people that you want playing that Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're all crazy a little bit deep down, buddy. But I think you might be right. I think Japer is going to be bringing out the beam here. I mean, we would like to see the Petal Dance Venusaur, but I think, you know, they like their ranged attackers, and we've just witnessed what Japer can do on a Psyshock Espeon, which doesn't have the range that a Beamu does. So even more range for Cafe Dumartin here, but it's all about the double range that Leftover OP has. Mew is one of the most pivotal Pokemon in Pokemon Unite. It has so much utility. It can help out its team in many different ways, and if you have a good Mew player, they are incredibly hard to catch and can drop a consistent amount of damage. So Nolan is going to lock that in and try and keep control of Fairsky Ruins.
And from Queen to Jimbro, Cascade has gone from Serena to the big swole bug. We saw how good Volto was on that before. Let's see what Cascade can cook. The Queen working incredibly well for him in that previous game. I'm very curious because we had this debate before about Latios as well, how effective it is in these competitive scenarios, because we haven't actually seen it pop off too many times as opposed to our solo queue experiences with this Pokemon. So I'm very curious to see how this game is going to go. I like both teams on paper. Both teams have Pokemon that can win it for them. But for me, eyes are on Volto with that Leafeon. It's just too big of a Pokemon to ignore. And plus, being able to take down Japer and possibly is it Alito? Alito. That's how I pronounce that name. I apologize. I brutalized. Huh?
Azalito.
Azalito. I'm trying to learn the names. Please forgive me.
That's all good, bro.
But a quick Emerald two-step from either of those to either of those Pokemon, and it's night-night with Charizard entering the central area for Cafe du Martin. Leafeon in the central area as if there was anywhere else it would go. But Leftovers OP.
And you are right, that might be how this game is decided, but this Leafeon is such a strong pick in Pokemon Unite right now. I don't think it gets any better than Leafeon early game, but you have to capitalize on it. It's all about what Volto can do to keep Leftovers OP in the lead from this early game.
Yeah, but look at here. Charmeleon is here. Access to that flamethrower. They see Mew and Clefairy. Volto decides to come on out. They're going straight after the Latias. Gets a big KO and runs right away. But fire, super effective against grasses. Volto has to get out the big bug. Tries to take a sap of some sweet nectar from a Leafeon. Doesn't get it. Clefable picks up the KO on the central laner. Tries to get 9 points in. We got Chaos Raining as soon as these bees even decide to spawn.
Yeah, I mean, what more would you expect from these two teams, mate? They are trying to capitalize on that early game on the side of a Leftover OP, and we do see that rotation back into the central area, back to their own lane, and the fact that Larrical Adept is going to get themselves out of here is ridiculous, mate. That Buzzwole wants to find that KO. They want the level 5 as soon as possible, but they have been limited to only getting it now.
I mean, it was also a really nice coaching move as well for Mew, because Lara was able to get out. Mew popping that coaching, able to just avoid Boswa and Latias completely. Still donuts on the board for Cafe du Martin, but it's still early days in this one. We got 8 minutes on the board. Charmeleon, Leafeon, we're going to fight it out for this one, but Slowbro not too far behind. The rest of Cafe du Martin making their way up.
Who's going to grab the 8-minute birds here? It is going to be a rotation from Cafe de Martin that does manage to find it despite Slowbro being there. And there we go. That's not what you want to see if you are Volto. You want that Leafeon to continue to dominate and have their Unite move before the 7-minute mark, but only at level 6 with the rest of their team. They haven't won this. They're looking to do.
There was a smart play there as well, just firing off that flamethrower, and Leafeon ended up getting knocked out to the burn damage. Traffy is here. They've got central area buffs. It's going to be a 3-4, 4v4, 3, I don't know, numbers all over the place. Slowbro with the surf, gonna get Razor Leaf. Venusaur is online, access to the beams, but now it's gonna be Traffy versus J-Pa with the range damage. And now we just gotta wait for that Seismic Slam to come online, because as soon as that comes online, that Unite move is a game changer.
Yeah, it's another example of why Leftover OP needed to do more in these early stages, mate, because now we're hitting the stage of this game where Cafe de Martin have their Pokemon online and having those power spikes. Once we have that Seismic Slam, which has just come through now, they do manage to find a KO onto the Buzzwole. Here's a rotation from the Charizard. Emerald two-step comes through, not before it takes to the skies, though. The boosted will come, and it does hit them, but they've got plenty of shielding. Finally, the Razor Leaf finds the KO onto Charizard. Exactly how Leftover OP needed to play that.
I thought that was really smart. I mean, the Emerald two-step got evaded by the Seismic Slam, so really an ineffective Unite move from Volto, but it did not matter. Managed to capitalize because they did the damage to Charizard before they were able to Unite at all. And again, this is another interesting thing. Look at the shared central lane going between Volto and Traffy on the side of Leftovers OP. Still donuts on the side of Cafe du Martin, as now Leftovers OP, beautiful telekinesis into the attacks from Traffy, ejects, and there is the Verdant Anger that comes down, but does not manage to hit too much with Clefable there to heal them up.
Oh, we do see the Mist Blast coming on out from the Latios there, targeting Latias as Traffy gets themselves back onto that pad, nearly getting KO'd, but instead they Leftover OP turn the tables on Cafe de Martin. That's going to be a double KO coming out from Volta there. They're going to feel pretty healthy as they throw in that 40 dunk, get the 30 in first, and now they can overcap this goal. Not before Slow Slam does come on through, but they don't do enough damage because Dakira's there with the slow beam, taking out the Swole, means that Leftover OP have all the room they need to get back onto their own pad.
Oh my god, the double beams crossing each other. Slowbro got hit, Venusaur got hit, almost like it got hit by its own solar beam. Imagine if that could happen in a Pokemon Unite game and the beams just keep crossing on the screen. But again, a little bit hesitant with the scores there, trying to figure out the quick math. They both had 40. There was a 30 in there as well, so unable to get the quick dunks happening. But again, if you really want to maximize your score lead like Leftovers are doing right now, it's super important to be able to do that math. Nice telekinesis, but Slowbro is going to pay for it. Cafe du Martin could finally push down here, but the rest of Leftovers OP are here to save them as we turn our attention to a Regirock in the bottom lane.
Going to be able to do much more. Is Voxshow on the Trevor as a BKO'd, and looks like they're looking for the support KO here. It's going to be a Verdant Anger, locks it on in with J-Pa. Now they've got the beams ready to go as well. They do have that Eon Blast coming their way. Not that it matters, because Seismic Slam is going to come on through, and Showmaker looks for the KOs. A good beam yet again coming out from Nolan there, and that is going to get them off that pad. So on the board for Cafe de Martin.
I never thought I'd see a beam struggle in a Pokemon Unite game, but it is happening on our screen. It is. J-Pa has not missed with these beams, but it's impossible to miss when you're Latios taking J-Pa down back to the Pokemon Center. Picks up a KO streak of 2, takes down its sister in red. The Latios also gets sent back. Cafe du Martin finally on the board, breaking that tier 1 in the top side path, but Leafeon could pay for some misaction. Tries to Emerald Tuesday its way out of danger, but gets taken down by the raging forests of Trevenant.
Oh, there's the Mystic Mirage just going to come out from you. That with the beam as well. Nolan looking to find the KO. The boosted does come through, takes down Cascade, but it is going to be Latias that finds the KO onto them in return. And now the pressure from Cafe du Martin has alleviated in the top pad a little bit, but not before Slowbro has something to say about it. Dakira putting up a fight against the other defender.
Slowbro seems to have fallen out just a little bit on the preference with what defenders are currently being played right now, but telekinesis, when you're on point the way that Dakira is right now, it takes people completely out the game. But Anger is going to be used in shotgun formation, picks up a KO, but however, Volto does get a KO on the Latias. They had to interrupt their scoring that time. Trevenant not going to be stopped. Going to get picked up, taken down by Latios. My God, trying to get the difference between these two as Volto picks up a KO on J-Pine, sends them back. 2.5 minutes on the clock. We're 30 seconds away from Rayquaza, and these teams do not want to slow down because inside that top part, Cascade's working on a Regieleki, but we got a nice big defense bump coming towards the side of Leftovers OP.
I gotta say, buddy, having Latias and Latios on the opposite team feels like there's two twins on opposite teams with very similar names, and we have to get the name right every single time. It's an absolute nightmare, mate, honestly.
Every time, but what's gonna be a nightmare for these teams right now is who takes the Rayquaza from who. Leftovers OP just lets Regieleki whittle waddle waltz its way down into that tier 2. They don't care. They're 50 points to the good. Those beams are searching for the enemy team, but they're not paying attention to Rayquaza yet. We could get an engage from Showmaker with its Unite, but Venusaur has access to Vernanger, and I thought he was going to use it just there, but it was just a simple Solar Beam, and we've got a little bit of a waiting game. Leftovers OP still has tier 1 that they can back up to.
Ooh, trying to pull in the Buzzwole here. They do get the slow beam onto them. Going to pair that with a beam from Nolan, but it's not enough, buddy. They didn't have the damage they were looking for, and it's going to be the Swole Slam that comes through. Goodbye, Lanias. Back to the Pokemon Center. Mystical Mirage from Nolan, though, does protect their team enough to find their own KOs in return, and with a huge beam, Cascade goes down, and Leftover OP have cleaned up Cafe Du Martin. They have two people coming back to the Rayquaza, but wisely so. Leftover OP recognize we're under a minute left in this game. We do not need this Green Dragon.
I mean, they managed to pick up a 3 KO streak just there without their Leafeon. Nolan coming up with the goods with a beautifully timed Electro Ball to take out Cascade as he was raining down. But now from the top side, they're going to try this rip because they know they've got a Venusaur secure. But on the other side, watch out for Volto because he's got access to that Emerald 2-step and he's going to use it straight away. Gets caught in the Horn Leech as Rayquaza is slowly getting whittled down. Volto's still alive. Beautiful telekinesis from Dakira. Buzzwole is in the fray as well. Gets caught in the gravity. Gets taken down by Traffy. And Cascade is the only one left. But Nolan does not miss with the boosted auto.
Buddy, Leftover OP have taken this second game, and it's almost as if we have a repeat of what happened on Monday 2 days ago. Could this go all the way to game 5?
I don't know, Matty, but my voice is already starting to feel it with the ending of that. Shoutouts to Nolan. What a pop-off performance from every single bit of that Rayquaza fight. Well done to them. Volto getting the 9 KOs, that MVP status, as Traffy picks up 11 as well. But shoutouts also go to Dakira. I don't think they missed a single telekinesis throughout that entire match.
Nah, that was absolutely on point, mate. And you're right, because it caused a lot of disruption, and it managed to pull in so many big picks. The way that they dragged in Cascade at that Rayquaza fight, buddy, unfortunately, there wasn't enough damage with just Nolan to be able to get the KO onto Cascade at that moment. But the play by Dakira was 100% on point. Target that Buzzwole, pull them in, get the slow beam onto them, and they're not going to have that team fight going the way that they want.
I mean, we don't really get a chance to just sit there and talk about some of these highlights. Just look at all of the action that is going on through this. Traffy making it out as well. I want to note, Traffy was low health for a lot of those team fights. Again, the positioning was so well done. Japer, again, same kind of positioning that we saw with the Espeon players. Unfortunately, Cascade got slow beam there, taken down. Not much to do. Beautiful telekinesis once again to bring them back. Again, Dakira was, I think the reason Cascade got taken out at the very last minutes, because we know Buzzwole can survive in those last minutes of that Rayquaza fight. The telekinesis won, came down. The gravity came down as well. But then also the overwhelming damage coming out from Latios was insane. So again, I think both teams did such a fantastic job. But Cafe du Martin locked out of scoring for almost 5-6 minutes of that game.
Yeah, that's tough. That is really tough, mate. What I want to know, though, is how do you feel about the Latios that we just saw, buddy? Because it's the first time I've seen it in this kind of setting. And what really frustrates me about these kind of supports is that, if anything, I saw Latios playing more aggressive, going for KOs and damage than I saw it doing support. And I'm like, and it's valid because it can do that. Why do we have supports capable of doing that, though?
I mean, Alito got KO'd in that top path in one of those fights that I saw, came right back, and the Unite move was used straight away on Traffy to pick up a counter KO. So, you know, maybe just a little tick for tat kind of going on there. But also, let's not forget that they don't have similar movesets, but they are Pokemon that go hand in hand with one another, right? I think that's probably how you need to play Latias. A little bit more forward thinking, a little bit more frontlining, but just a triple team to take them out. And this is what I was talking about before. Beautiful gravity to stop Cascade from even moving. It was, I think, a better showing from both the what are they called? The Eon duo from Latios and Latias. But again, Traffy is such an incredible player that I want to talk about. I talked about it before, the sharing of the central area once again between Volto and Traffy. Volto got it for Leafeon, starts making a presence. We saw that happen in the first minute of the game. Got the KOs, got the stacks, did its thing. Second rotation went to Traffy to get Latios online, get access to its moves, get those stacks, and start doing the damage. You saw, though, the pairing off that Leftovers OP did in that fight. Latios was with Dakira the entire time. Every target that Dakira picked up with the telekinesis, and let me tell you, they barely missed at telekinesis. Latios was there to jump on them. On the other hand, you also had Mew, Leafeon, and Buzzwole forming a trio that we saw before, actually taking out Latias in the Rayquaza fight. So I like the fact that these teams are splitting up into small mini factions around the map, and they're supporting each other, which I thought was really, really, again, essential for Leftovers OP win. But like you said, they lost the first game on Tuesday. They came back with a vengeance. Bro, we might get a game 5.
I mean, it's just insane, mate. Like, I love it. This is the EU region. These individual players are so good, and they're only getting better, mate. That's why we're here. We're collecting this data so that we can evidence how well they're doing, how to improve, and it already we're at a stance that is impressive for the EU region, and it's not even in season right now, which is what's so exciting. I mean, as we have a look at these bans though in game 3, buddy, so it is going to be Suicune and Snorlax banned out by Leftover OP, Blissey and Ho-Ho coming out from Cafe du Martin, and Cascade locks in the Sword Doggo from the get-go.
That's an interesting pick, honestly, because they don't have access to Charizard. They're not going to use Serena. They can't use Buzzwole. So what's your next best pick? Cascade thinks it's Sword Doggo. Volter answers in kind with one of the 2 secure gods of Pokemon Unite that we always talk about. I'm wondering if they're ever going to give us another secure god, but it seems like Blaziken and Urshifu are going to take that role. Lara's going to pick up the nice little creep buff, bringing a little bit of sweetness to the cooking that's happening on Thea Sky Ruins right now. Japer is going to give us a Latios show. Now, I am terrified.
The thing is, what I've been watching this entire time, whilst, I've had my eye on the Dakira versus Fox Show battle, and I can't quite make my mind up on who's actually winning that in this set. But what I do know is I've been keeping a close eye on the Traffy versus Japer battle as well as the ranged attackers, buddy. And game 1, I will give to Japer all along because that Espeon was very impressive. But game 2, that was Traffy that came out on top using that Latias. So the thing is, what can Japer do on that Latios in return? Are they going to be able to win that battle? That's what I'm going to keep an eye on this time.
I'm curious to see what Traffy decides to lock in there, and if that's the pick, that's going, if Traffy's going to hover over that, we know that Pokemon can be a absolute menace. Because now it's Nolan's turn to show what they can do on this Espeon as well. Takira going to go with the classic Surf and Turf and Blastoise. But Showmaker wants to make a show out of game number 3. They pull out the scoring sensation that is Cinderace coming out to play. Looking dazzling with them red and blue scarves that he's all decked out with. But to me, Voxshow might have something to say in this defender battle against Akira.
This is crazy, mate. I mean, if you can't get access to a Cinderace, but you know they've got one, what's another Pokemon in this game that's capable of doing exactly that? Dragapult is it. But Dragapult has been one of these Pokemon that has not been pickable in a 5v5 setting for a long time. It struggles with both of its movesets in this game. Some people take it to the central area, some people take it into the lane. It doesn't have the easiest phases to get to that level 3 evolution. So it's really going to be important to keep an eye on Traffy in this game, buddy, because if he can win this ranged attack battle against Japer, that just shows that they may be the better ranged attacker.
I mean, look, that's an interesting claim because it's hard, bro. We have got battles going on between this team, between the all-rounders, between Volta and Cascade. Lara and Alito are just going there to try and support. What a fight. They are cooking everything that they can do. Let's not forget we can cook ourselves with our HelloFresh sponsor. Guys, type in that promo code 10 free meals, Tano. We gotta get our eat on. But now we're gonna be feeding tonight as we've got some early contention inside this basement park.
Yeah, the difficulty is if they can find the Dwebble, that now leaves Japer in a tough position. Akira is on the Squirtle, a very good lane attacker, in this situation. Showmaker's going to come through with that score. Bunny will find a KO onto the Squirtle. So weak, and they do. And that just gives them an even bigger foot up if they can score here as well.
I mean, that's really funny to me. Showmaker usually comes out of central lane as a reboot already. However, did they just not take the Bunnelbees inside that central lane? Did they just come in with the central area auras? I mean, it's a smart play. You get a quick, easy rotation inside that central area. As we do see now, central laners are going up towards that top path. We did see Dracolock. We saw Traffy making their presence known in the enemy team central. There's nothing to take. Psyshock hits the sword, though, gets taken down. Trick can't do too much. Raboot's got to escape. Psyshock just missing. As now there is now safety going on with Cafe du Martin's base, as we have donuts for leftovers.
Let's see what Traffy can do to get into that Dragapult, and of course they're going to need to get stacks. That's the important thing as well, Lobo, and having your team find those KOs over you is not a position that you want to be in, but the thing is that they're just going to try and take what KOs they can. So they're going to have to work as a team to make sure that they're giving those important stacks over to Traffy. We've got the 8-minute birds about to spawn on in, and Cafe du Martin is showing face with plenty of their team as Cascade comes on through with that Metal Claw, takes the majority of it, and Nolan has been cut off by Voxshow here. Metal Claw connects again. Cinderace is going to try and get themselves out of that position, and it's going to be raining down destruction as they find the KO onto Wartortle again, and going back into that top lane to look for more.
Wait, I thought, Cascade retreating, but I just want to point out, Showmaker did a fantastic play there. Actually went after Lara on that Alcremie, making sure that their team's healer and support were separated from the rest of their team, putting down big damage, quick damage like only Cinderace can. Doing a fantastic job as Cascade managed to deal with Traffy on that Dracolock. Now we need to get them to their final evolutions. Playing stage 2 Pokemon, especially in a competitive region, competitive sense, is so difficult. But Cafe du Martin, low HP bars, less than half health for both of them, playing a risky game, trying to contest for those Altaris.
Now, Cascade's in this bottom lane by themselves. The rest of the team is showing face to that top Lecky, putting the importance on this one. It is going to be Volto that's here as that Blaziken, ready for the secure. Has to back on up, though, because Voxshow comes through with the Crustle. Now they're going to leave Japer to rip this Regieleki whilst they hold down the leftover OP approach. But Dragapult is now on the field. They've managed to take out that Cinderace. Who's going to lock it in? It is going to be none other than Traffy that finds it with that Unite move and takes down the Crustle to boot as they continue to push this T1 pad. A huge serve comes through from Darkira, pushes them out of the vision. The Lecky's going to go in. They're going to break this pad with plenty of an overcap as Cascade comes to try and show their face for it as well. They're going to get KO'd in return. A perfect Alchemy Unite move comes out to keep their team in that fight from Lara, and as they continue to defend and push back, it is going to be leftover OP that comes out feeling rosy.
You cannot touch Traffy right now. He is a Dragapult that can go invisible and just A-press you down from a place that you cannot even see. Cafe Du Martin need to find a way to deal with Traffy as quick as possible, but you know who's not going to let them get there? Darkira. Darkira Sursa on point, and look at Lara, not even straying from their central Ana 1 millimeter. They are on them at all times, and Nolan with the Psyshock playing brilliantly to secure some of these stuns for Traffy to come in and just A-press, Dracolock those missiles down onto it. That's beautiful Rock Gym coming through, but it does not matter. Showmaker trying to make a play for this as Espeon gets sent back. Cascade picks up the KO on Traffy. Hydro Typhoon is going to do not much except for a stun. Can we get a leftovers? Come on! No, they're not able to defend as the Hydro Typhoon tried to give them a little bit of time. Cafe Du Martin breaks tier 1.
Oh my god, how close is this game, buddy? We just hit the 5-minute mark, and again, there's really nothing in it between them. We've already got one game apiece right now. Traffy, very close to that level 12 mark on that Dragapult, and I'm impressed. They've managed to keep up with a Cinderace, which is definitely a more difficult Pokemon to keep up with, and I think it's impressive to see them manage to do that, buddy. Leftover OP are going to group up onto this top side here, going to leave that Espeon. Nolan's down in that bottom side to protect that T2 goal while they go for the rip on this Regieleki.
I mean, when you've got a Dragapult that can just rip that down, and you've got a Blaziken that can secure it with any of its movesets, whether it be Focus Blast or Overheat, it's usually going to be Overheat in that instance. But a Registeel right now captured by the side of Cafe Du Martin. They want to make sure they've got a minute and a half to use this Registeel to try and get something in. I kind of wish we were able to see Traffy's KO stats right now as Latios has forced to pull its Unite move. Beautiful shield coming through from Alcremie. Blaze Kick does manage to send Darkira back to the Pokemon Center, and now we have Cafe Du Martin chasing down a leftovers OP who's trying to retreat, but Crustle says no. Alcremie, you gotta go back in the oven to cook just a little bit longer. Traffy, you magician, not able to get away. Cafe Du Martin, they hunt, they conquered. Now it's time to score.
Blastoise, what can you do here though, buddy? Huge serve trying to pull them all off the pad. It's going to be a Hydro Typhoon. Just misses the Hooper though, and so does the Psychic Solaire. That's going to be 40 points in anyway from Azalito as they try and get on the retreat now. The feint is going to come on out. Showmaker's so weak here though, has to keep themselves at distance while they go for these KOs. Gotta be wary. Focus Blast comes through. Another perfect feint protects Showmaker from getting KO'd. Azalito just managing to get out of there as Nolan goes on the retreat as well. But this is impressive, mate. I did love the ankle breaking coming out of Traffy there, but well read by Showmaker, knowing the direction they were going to go.
Brody has the Ultra Instinct mod activated on his Pokemon Unite. He sends Traffy trying to get away. Oh my days. Blaziken almost gets taken down by the power of Latios. Hooper and Crustle trying to defend this one. Darkira gets taken down by Latios. That lock on is just too much. But here we go. Traffy trying to take down the Sword Doggo. Hooper manages to trick their way out of it. We have 30 seconds to go until Rayquaza spawns, but these guys don't care. They just want to fight it all out. We got 164 to 167. There are 3 points between these two teams, but the two that we have been talking about, Traffy and Showmaker, the A-presses going at level 14 each as we now make our way. We turn our attention to the central area. The big green dragon is about to descend from Sky Pillar and make their presence known on Thea Sky Ruins. But now, are we going to play a waiting game? It feels like we might just play a waiting game because both teams have tier 1s up in the top and basement pad. Both teams have ability to rip. There's a bit of more secure potential on the side of Leftovers OP with Blaziken and Espeon. But Showmaker is just going to tickle the green dragon just a little bit. He didn't like that, got a little bit of range. But I think right now they might have found their targets because it's about to pop off.
Oh, buddy, now the Rayquaza's getting some damage rained onto it. Showmaker's going to go for it, uses the feint to get themselves out of that stun. As Hooper lets loose, the rings are unbound. And it is going to be a huge rip that comes through from Showmaker, locking it in with Japer, finding the KOs. And now that's going to be game. Over to Cafe to Martin as they rain in the Hundo Burgers. There is a minute left in this. Hydra Typhoon is going to come on out, but they get absolutely ripped down. Trying to take these shields from the side of Leftover OP. Using the Alchemy Unite move, but it doesn't matter. The pad gets broken anyway, and with most of their team being down, I don't see how they get out of this, Lobo.
I mean, the shields are still aplenty in the Cinderace with level 15 and a Rayquaza shield. The audacity to score without a shield. Showmaker, he was the playmaker today. My God, when the team was distracted, we saw Cascade jump into that Rayquaza pit as Showmaker started to rip. There was absolutely nothing that Leftovers OP could do. There's still 25 seconds. They have 400 points that they have to climb, but Showmaker makes them go the other way. Feints one way, goes the other, just putting on the damage onto Cinderace.
Oh, that's going to be game, buddy. Now, as this is going to be game, and we know that for a fact, we've got to talk about which players we genuinely think are competing and winning their battles right now. Now, that one, it was all about Traffy versus Japer that I've been seeing in this set so far, and it has gone either way, but I gotta say, I do think Traffy maybe did more on the Latios than we saw from Japer in that game. I can't wait to see the stats. But Traffy, for me, has been so impressive in this set already to pull out a Dragapult and manage to keep up the leveling that you have against a Cinderace, and then also pull out the rip the way that you did. You've got 7 KOs in this game. You've done the most on your team, and you were just managing to keep yourself at range, which is a difficult skill to do on these ranged attackers at the moment when you don't have something like Feint. Yes, you do have that shadow that you can go into and try and break some ankles, but people typically predict where you're going to be, as we saw from Showmaker there. So for me, currently, the battle between these ranged attackers, Traffy is winning it, but I'm loving the rivalry between Traffy and Japer right now.
It's so interesting to talk about the rivalry between the different roles on each team, because we have seen certain players take different roles. We've seen range attackers come through, like you said, but seeing, for me in that fight, that was a battle between the two range attack players. But then having a look at the actual Pokemon that were being played, I saw that as Espeon versus Latios, and I saw that as Dragapult versus Cinderace. Because 2 A-pressing Pokemon as opposed to 2 ranged Pokemon that are dealing damage plus hindrance, right? Again, fantastic job by both. Traffy's ability to hide himself, but then also come out and do damage. Dragapult relies on getting your KO stacks. Because you get more of a buff as you go through. Look at this, chasing down Latios inside these things. But Showmaker put on a show. To the name with that Cinderace. We saw beautiful instances where he would blaze kick and target the support, like I mentioned in the match. But again, the wherewithal to know that Crustle and Hooper were keeping everybody else occupied. That Latios was also putting on damage so they couldn't get close. Cascade jumped into the Rayquaza pit whilst Showmaker, and here it is, Showmaker's ripping right now. The entirety of Leftovers OP is inside their own central area. Look at where Hooper is. Look at where Showmaker is right now. Almost getting caught out. Almost gets caught. Blastoise. Dakira does go that way. Just gets ripped down. And there we see Showmaker starts to turn on the Rayquaza. Gets stunned out. The Hooper comes through. And there it is. Showmaker just goes, yep, I'm going to rip. Hooper's there. Latios is there. It's ours. It's just such good playmaking, I want to say. The ability, Alito, pulling up that Hooper roll call was for no other reason than to keep Showmaker alive. And, you know, team synergy, team unity, Cascade was already in there. Like I can mention it over and over. Showmaker, take a bow, bro. Like, take a bow. That was one of the most impressive Cinderace performances I've seen. But let's not also take away from the fact that was, as we'll see here, was aided by a Trick Hooper. So...
rightly so, mate. I will say that I feel like Showmaker is one of these rare players on the team that you can just let do their thing. Like there's so many players on teams where like, yeah, we're gonna pair this up as a duo. Like they're gonna have their support, they're gonna have their ranged attacker, they're gonna have that. Showmaker is the kind of player that you just let go and do their own thing, buddy. Whatever Pokemon they're gonna be on, whether that's an all-rounder, whether that's an attacker, they just go do their own thing, and you can trust them to do that in the team that is Kathy DeMartin. So I think that is honestly massively important for a team.
And look how many Pokemon that we now have off the table for both teams, not including the 4 banned Pokemon already. Those 4 banned Pokemon have stayed pretty much the same for the last 2 games. Snorlax, Blissey, Ho, and Suicune. Not letting be let out of that ban gel. Lara's going to pick up that Psyduck. Azilto is going to... I cannot pronounce that name. I don't know. The Z is messing me up, brother. Azalito.
There you go, smashed it, man.
Azalito is going to pick up the Kareem Pup, as Voxo is going to pick up Umbreon. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, we didn't see that many evolutions on Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure we did not see an Umbreon.
You know what? You might be right, mate. I can't recall. Oh, we did. It was a foul play. It was a foul play.
Oh, we did. We did not see a lot of evolutions. Sorry?
Not much, though. I don't think we saw it on both teams, because, of course, it is Fearless Draft, but I don't think we saw it on both teams. Either way, I'm surprised it's taken us all the way to, what, Game 4 are we in now? Yeah, Game 4, and we're finally seeing Umbreon on the field.
We're seeing Umbreon. Cascade has gone to the well again. With the ghostly sword is coming to play. Japa is going to pick up a legendary Pokemon in Mewtwo. Why? Nolan's going to go with the Charizard, and Traffy is going to pick up Pikachu. Now, I'm interested to see what moveset this is going to be. If it's going to be a combination of Volt Tackle and I believe it's Thunder that we do see, or if we're going to go with the classic E-Ball, Volt Tackle, and Thunderbolt, the Mage build. But Dakira's picking up an interesting defender in that Lapras.
I gotta say, if they do pull out the Mage build, Traffy just goes up even more in my recommendations, mate, because the fact that they're pulling OG Pikachu here anyway, when, you know, I believe we haven't had Raichu yet, and they're not banned, so that alone, they instantly go up in my assumptions. But also, I love the Mage build. I think it's so strong from Pika. I know how annoying Volt Tackle is, buddy, but I think Mage build Pika is the best version of Pikachu that we have in this game. So we'll have to see. Again, it's going to be that ranged attack and defender battle that we're going to keep a close eye on. I apologize to the supports and the all-rounders that are working their butts off in this set, because we're
keeping track. We're keeping track. We're not keeping track. We're keeping track of all of the battles going on. It's going to be Psyduck versus Alcremie, which is an interesting supporter battle that we've got going on. But it's 2 defenders. It's Voxo and Dakira on the Blastoise as well, right? No, yeah. So that's going to be an interesting battle to go through. No, Dakira's on the Lapras. Lapras, and then we had a Blastoise as well.
Last game we did.
Oh my god. It's just so many Pokemon. But also, we haven't actually spoken about what Volto's choice with the Garchomp going up against Cascade with that Aegislash. There is a Blastoise. I'm not crazy. Showmaker's playing the Blastoise. And if this is a rapid spin Blastoise, I have no words. I have no words.
Whilst they're having this jostling going on for this little bit of farm here, buddy, what we do have to talk about is yet again we're seeing Showmaker on a different style of Pokemon, right? They've got a defender in the field now. Yes, they're probably going to play it in a more attacking stance like the attacking Blastoise, but they were on Cinderace last game, buddy. They've played all-rounders in this set already. And what a way to showcase your flexibility as a Pokemon Unite player than doing this in this Unite Fight Club.
Mate, it's in the name. Showmaker. He's
so
he's making the show for us. But I also wanted to point out before we get to the middle Altarias, we talked about Electro Ball, we talked about Volt Tackle Pikachu. Honestly, Volt Tackle Pikachu usually there to try and suppress speedsters, but there's not really anything on that team that benefits from getting Volt Tackle, as we do have the middle Altarias here. It is Electro Ball coming out from this Pikachu. Doublade online, going down to the Charmeleon. Garchomp rushes on in. Leftovers OP out the gates very quick. The Cafe Dumartine putting pressure in that bot side with Mega Mewtwo Y and Umbreon.
Such a great power spike is that Gabite, buddy. I mean, already the Gible does a decent amount of damage, but having the pull that you can get from that Gabite is massive. Here, Japer is going to be able to get themselves out. Good serve from Lara is going to come on through, but Voxo comes to their rescue, and they get themselves out of there. They didn't manage to grab the aura. That is still going to go to leftover OP, but it's all about causing that distraction, Lobo. 3 Pokemon came to try and deal with Japer there.
I mean, getting access to that blue buff is going to help either way, especially Pikachu was the one, Traffy was the one that secured that, getting access to that. Now it's a share, once again, a shared central lane. Do we get an evolution to Charizard? We do. Psyduck gets sent back to see Nurse Joy, courtesy of a bit of Xing Xing coming out from Cascade. Pops that wide guard. They're looking to make a push onto this tier 1. We haven't seen the second move come out from Pikachu just yet. Thunder could be real useful right now, but nope, it's a Volt Tackle. Down goes Cascade.
I mean, come on, they were going to play it all day long, buddy, as much as I hoped for that ranged Pikachu. But come on, we all know that it's the Volt Tackle Electro Ball that even if they don't do what needs to be done against speedsters that they don't have, it's all about their mental, mate. They're getting into their brain and being so frustrated. Witness the power of Volt Tackle Electro Ball Traffy. And now we already see the tilt that is coming out from Cafe Dumartin.
But it's being comboed so well with Akira's Bubble Beam. Like the Bubble Beam into the Volt Tackle alongside the Psyduck as well. There's so much stun that we didn't even point out in the draft mode. But it doesn't matter to Cafe Dumartine. Nothing is going to stop them from turning their attention to Regieleki and trying to get some positioning inside this top part. Beautiful surf comes through. Pikachu's going to try and put down some electricity. Nice scoop by Gabite. Aegis Cascade goes in, gets caught in the Volt Tackle, sent back to Nurse Joy. Umbreon has absolutely nowhere to go, and the game gets pulled back by Lara. And Leftovers OP turn that battle around.
Oh, we're just picking up exactly where we were, buddy. Leftover OP are going to bounce on back in this fight here. They lost the previous game. Now they're going to lock in and win this game. Well, we'll go to a game 5. That is all we're seeing from these two teams all day long. They do manage to take that bottom objective as Cafe Dumartine go back on the retreat as well. But look at what they're doing here. Volto's grabbing every piece of experience they possibly can to hit those higher levels. And they've got Livid Outrage ready to go as they make the approach on the T1 pad here. There's the Seismic Slam coming on through, connecting, taking the KO on the side of Showmaker, looking for the Umbreon here, and they find it as well. We do have the Thunderstorm that's going to come through from Pikachu. Traffy finding the damage, finding the KOs as Volto rushes up the Flux Zone and takes even more as Leftover OP put a stomp on this mid-game.
A stomp in the number of 30. That was the overcap that went into that tier 1, and now a defense of this tier 1 on the top side has to come from Cafe Dumartine. Leftovers OP look like they are all over the map, and I say that in the best way possible because wherever Cafe Dumartine seem to go on the map, Leftovers OP are right there. Look at how far Takira is in right now. Just putting those bubble beams, stopping Cascade from moving. There's the Infinite Cyber coming down. Alcremie has to pop the Unite move to keep their team alive. Hydro Typhoon comes down alongside the coup de grace. Sai does the damage reduction. Traffy gets an Electro Ball, trying to get a secure, and there's the Thunderstorm whilst everyone is low. And look at the tracking on that Electro Ball. It finds Alcremie and puts it back in the oven to cook just a little more.
And as if Traffy didn't need to make more of a statement with how good they are. That's a triple KO coming out from the absolute annoyance that is Volt Tackle Pikachu. Good dive from Cascade there, trying to see if they can get a KO, but witnessing Lapras being there, they make the wise decision to back on up. That's not a 3-1 battle you want to take on. But Leftover OP, they are taking the lead of this game, buddy. 222 points to 57. They've got that Regieleki, and they look like they want to push it. There's the Seismic Slam. They delete Showmaker out of this game, and the Lecky gets so close to raining on in. Can they break the pad before it does? Yes, they do, and it's before 4 minutes, Lobo, which means we're going to have another Regieleki on the field, and Leftover OP have just got their win condition.
They've got their win condition. What's even better is that they're even closer to 500 points. They could take this game completely out of contention, especially if they're able to take the Rayquaza. But Umbreon trying to lock down Pikachu. Pikachu is going to go with the Thunderstorm into the Hydro Typhoon. There's the KO. Limit Outrage is coming up from Volto, trying to pick it up. But Mewtwo teleports right out there. But the fire is too much and sends them back to Nurse Joy. As there it is, just trying to weed them off. The Regice is just going to be a consolation prize right now for Leftovers OP because they are very much in control.
We talk about the bounce back ability of players and teams, buddy, and Leftover OP are just the symbolism of it right here. They lost that previous game. Cafe Du Martin were way more aggressive against them, but now it's all Leftover OP. Cafe Du Martin are not finding the team fights that they're looking for. Dakira here is going to cause a distraction to allow Traffy to get away. They may go down here, and yes they do, as Cascade locks that in as well, but they're not going to find anyone else. They've done the distraction they needed. It's the lowest level Pokemon there, buddy. That's not much.
I mean, taking out Lapras in this instance, like you said, lowest level Pokemon providing the least amount of experience, but Dakira has been at the forefront of all of the engages that Leftover OP are going for. It's such a bulky Pokemon to deal with, but with 5 seconds left to go until Regieleki spawns, Cafe Du Martin just walked away from it. They've given the positional sense all the way over to Leftovers OP. They could rip this, but they could turn this on a fight. Umbreon looking to be taken down quickly as Dakira seizes them out. Slow Psyduck's going to try and come back in and cause more of a wall. The bubbles are going in. The Thunderstorm is going to come out early. 13 seconds to go until Rayquaza. Cascades gets spelled. 2 KO streak from Taffy. Blastoise has to pull the Ultra Type. The Hydro Typhoon! I was about to say Ultra Typhoon, but Showmaker does get away! And now, Rayquaza is there to be ripped.
This is it. It's all or nothing. Full power Sai to reduce that damage coming through, but it's going to be none other than Traffy with the Pikachu of destruction that finds the lock-in, and we have a Game 5, Lobo!
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Bro.
We can say it as much as we want, but holy, it's 2 days in a row. Our first set is gonna go the distance, and I have to say that is probably the most dominant performance. Oh my god! I just look at Traffy's stats.
Bro,
it feels like it definitely feels like we're glazing Traffy a bit, but these performances have been absolutely standout.
No, they have. I mean, I've said it. I know I keep going on about these range attackers. They've been fantastic. We've also talked about the defenders, but it was a battle between them both, and Traffy won game 1, Japer won game 2, but since then, Traffy has put a stamp on these games, and it's rare for a ranged attacker to actually do that in this meta, with it being so heavy on the brawl, on the range, on if you're not an Inteleon or a Mewtwo Y or a Miraidon, you don't expect to see them do that well. So I think that's why we're probably feeling so strongly for Traffy in this set, buddy. And I gotta say, didn't manage to do too much in it on the side of Showmaker there on the Blastoise. They were trying to do their own thing like they usually do, but Leftover OP, they had an answer to Showmaker in this game, and it was impressive.
I just want to point out right now is the assists for both Lara and Dakira. 15 each. How involved Psyduck and Lapras were in on all of those team fights was very key. I think Dakira, the Lapras pick up against the Umbreon pick, we're talking about just these picks going up against each other. The Bubble Beam coming out from Lapras, the Psychic to pull coming, and the Surf coming out from Psyduck, there was just so much more hindrance because Cascade, we all know, is a fantastic AG/ player. Anytime they went in, caught with a Bubble Beam, caught with a Psychic, caught with a Volt Tackle, there was absolutely nothing to do in that instance as an AG/ player. That is just a team that is going to stun you at every chance. But then when you also look at their attackers, Nolan had the Seismic Slam from Charizard. Garchomp able to scoop and slam and give you another stun as well. A CC heavy team, but a very, very subtle CC heavy team. If that makes any sense at all.
If you get my drift. No, it definitely was.
I mean, because look, when you look at the team, it's kind of like, it's pretty obvious. It's a CC heavy team. But when you really, really look at that team as to how much CC is on that, also seeing that Electro Ball just fly off screen and down to go after Alcremie was also another highlight. But Leftovers OP put it on the statement. They brought the games back even. So now it's gut check time for both teams. It's game 5. Whoever wins this wins it. They go home. They get the bragging rights. And then they're going to come back next week and do it all over again. And that's the best part about this Unite Fight Club, because it's not going to end. These teams are just going to keep coming back and keep fighting each other and keep getting stronger. And Leftovers OP in that last game, boy, EU, take notice. Take notice.
One thing that we can say, though, is that, of course, Leftover OP, they lose a game, bounce back really strong. Lose a game, and bounce back really strong. Now, in a best of 5, that ain't going to go in your favor if you lose that first game, buddy, because now, realistically, going off purely that stat and that data, it should be Cafe du Martin that come out on top. But now they have 20 individual Pokemon that each team cannot play. So we are really reaching into the depths of our capabilities here as players as we try and find Pokemon that are still strong in this meta.
I mean, Serena and Cinderace getting banned up is wild, as we've seen a change up completely from the side of Cafe du Martin. As we do have Blissey getting picked up, first of all. So it's going to be our first time seeing Blissey in this best of 5. Dakira is hovering. I wonder what defender they're going to pick, but we are getting a Comfey. Are we either going to see a Zoroark or a Zeraora? Either Z Pokemon is going to be a nightmare to deal with. Dakira going with the Ice-type Mamoswine.
I like the pick of the Comfey so early on, though, because now Cafe du Martin are going to have to think about that, buddy. Are they going Zoroark? Are they going Zeraora? Voxshow's going to lock in the Slowbro. They're getting prepared for it. We've got Cascade locking in the Lucario, and we've seen so much E-Speed Lucario recently. And they've got that full heal on. They're expecting some sort of speedster coming out here that's going to capitalize on that Comfey. What's it going to be as Volto looks to lock in the Cerulege? Traffy is definitely not the speedster player, but they look like they're going to pick it up early. It's going to be Absol.
What are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, I love Fearless Draft so much, because of just the craziness that we get to see. I wanted to point out that Cascade popped off on Lucario on Tuesday. An absolute phenomenal Lucario game out of them. Japa's going to pick up Talonflame. I think we saw them on the Fly build last time we saw Talonflame played. We haven't seen too much Brave Bird. A little bit scary playing Brave Bird right now, because then you're just kind of caught out in no man's land if you do miss. Showmaker gonna try and put on a show again for us with that Blaziken. Nolan is going to pick up Pikachu's evolved cousin from the sunny beaches, that Alolan Raichu. Nice comp coming out from both. We got a rainbow style on the side of Leftovers OP. Little bit of favoritism to the all-rounders with the purple backgrounds on Cafe du Martin. But I'm very interested to see, are we getting Heals Blissey? Are we getting I saw Leftovers on Blissey. Leftovers is the team they're playing. Are we getting Heals Blissey? Are we getting Safeguard Blissey? Which one are we going to get? Because both moves very good.
Looking at what they've got, I mean, they do have the Mamoswine, and I guess you do have some stun from the Cerulege. I don't know. I think Heals Might be the better route here, though, buddy. It's not too heavy of a CC team over on the side of leftover. But come on, we've got to talk about it. These ranged attackers that we've been keeping an eye on for the entirety of this set are now both on speedsters, bro. Who wins? Traffy on the Absol or Japer on that Talonflame? Where's your bet? I'm putting my bet, even though it's been on Traffy the entire way, and I think Traffy's a fantastic player that's won this so far. I'm going to put it on the Talonflame just because I think Japer on that Talonflame is going to do better this game.
I think, for me, again, you pose a question that I can't answer properly because Lara is on the config. You cannot take away that X factor of Lara on the config. However, I'm also not going to take away the X factor of Voxshow playing Slowbro because we could see telekinesis come out once again. And if Absol gets caught, there's a problem for you. But Japer is a very, very good Talonflame. We saw it earlier on. I want to see how well they do. It just depends how well Traffy can pop off in this early game, and getting a KO right there on Japer would have been the way to do it, but that eject just saved them.
Alrighty, so first KO is going to go over to none other than Cascade, finding the, well, it was actually a Charcadet, not even managing to get their Evo just yet. We're that early in the game, but here comes Traffy, looking to see if they can catch them, outscoring. It is going to be pursuit from Traffy as well. Are they going to be able to get that back hit? Yes, they do. They find two of them, and now they're looking for the KO, and they get their revenge instantly. Still, no evolution on the Charcadet, though, and Showmaker gets the revenge.
Showmaker came in with a beautiful blaze kick to separate the two from fighting, but now Traffy has to fight a Lucario and a Combusken by themselves, turning our attention back up to that top path. They're going in, Lucario is low, has access to that E-speed, pushes Absol away. My God, they're not letting Traffy have his way inside that top part. Cascade has a mission, and it is to deny that Absol any KOs.
This is such an exciting set that we've already seen, and now we've got these two speedsters going at it. It gets even better here in Game 5. Charcadet is still struggling to get that Cerulege evolution, and they're up against Cascade in the top lane, just waiting for their own little bit of experience to come back. Not a position you want to be in when you've got Cascade going against your Lucario.
I mean, E-speed is just a problem to deal with when you're just like, especially at that level where you're just desperate for any kind of experience. But there, Cascade's going to go for a nice 14 dunk. Traffy is really close. Is he going to try and E-speed his way out? As we turn our attention to middle Altares, Cafe Du Martin going to soak up all of them as Showmaker's going to go top side. As Cascade gets sent back to the Pokemon Center, picks up a KO on Traffy. We can see it come up. 2 KO streak for the side. A Showmaker chases down Lara, makes it. Oh, does not make it a third because Blissey wanted some of the spotlight for themselves.
And that's a difference, buddy. They've managed to get themselves to level 7 on the side of that Absol, but they haven't found the dominating KOs that they were looking for just yet, as we do see them try and see if they can push Showmaker off this pad, but they absolutely refuse to do so. Here comes the Psycho Cut again, gets hit by none other than Showmaker, and as Traffy comes in to provide that assistance, they get blown up back to the Pokemon Center, and Volto looks like they want to go on the retreat, because Showmaker won't let them, as they look for the triple KO, and it rains on through. They put a stamp on this early game.
That double all-rounder combination in that top path is brutal. The combination of Blaziken and Lucario e-speeding around, and Blaziken using those Fire Fists to keep themselves healthy and healed, and now Cafe Du Martin are going to turn their attention to the Registeel in the bottom. That's even more of a problem with these two all-rounders, and Talonflame now on the boat. Raichu going to try and set some grenades down. There's the Thunder Force Aerial coming out as well, but it does not matter. They're going to try and score their points and get out. J-Puff flies, takes to the sky to escape, and Slowbro's going to pop that eject button. Doesn't want to get caught by those ice ski tusks.
Oh, I don't know how this is going to go, though, buddy. We do now see Traffy finding that level 10, so they're managing to keep leveled up more than Japer, but it's Showmaker that is putting their own name on this game so far, and they don't have an answer on the side of leftover OP as Volto tries to find a good KO here. They rain on through with the Revenant Ren, doesn't find a connect onto it, but they do take down Blissey, looking to see if they can find Japer for their efforts as well, but the fly comes through, and none other than Showmaker comes here to clean up the rest. Cafe Du Martin will not be taken down.
This is a different look comp coming from the side of Cafe Du Martin. They're doing so well, fighting over every piece of farm, and every time they engage on the enemy team, any enemy of leftover OP has to deal with not only a Blaziken, there's a Lucario right behind it, there's a Blissey helping out with Safeguard and Helping Hand, there's a Slowbro absorbing all the damage, and if that wasn't enough, you have to look up, look to the skies, because a Talonflame is hunting for you. Now leftovers OP, they are still in the score lead, 137 to 104, as we close on into that half-minute mark. Damn, goes Cascade right back to the Pokemon Center. Absol forced to unite as well. Japer takes to the skies, takes down Cerule, and Slowbro joins in quick succession. 3 KO streak for Trappy. Blaziken is running. Showmaker doesn't want to give him a show, but Trappy says, I am inevitable, with a big 4 KO streak.
All right, Traffy, I see your game, buddy. You know that we were doubting it in this one, and you were like, nah, I gotta lock in. Finds that Quadra, and then looks for more as well as they go to the top pad to score. Japer, in return, is gonna get their own points and use that Flame Charge to get themselves out. Revenant Rend is gonna connect, though, and that's gonna be a double KO for Volto as they look to push onto this pad again. They do have the Thunderstorm Aerial to contain with, and it seems like Cafe Du Martin are gonna put their everything to defend this pad. Showmaker is now here. It's left on 6, but leftover OP have taken the lead. A massive Ice Fang trying to shut down Showmaker as they put more pressure on, but the Mammoth has only got so much health. It does come on out with that Mammoth Mash, and it seems like they're not going to find the KOs they were looking for, Lobo, as Cafe Du Martin come out on top.
I mean, what a back and forth. The Thunderstorm Aerial coming down from Alolan Raichu, managing to give themselves a little bit of presence. But Mamoswine getting that evolution was very key there. But you said it, Showmaker came back. He decided to steal the show once again, dodging and weaving, pushing and pulling. Even the Mamoswine's ice wasn't enough to douse the flames of Blaziken. We got 223 to 144, 330, 340, 338. I don't know, there's a lot of time left because we got an objective in that top path. It's a Regieleki, and both teams are slowly making their way, but there's gonna be a fight before anyone else can get there. Showmaker is on the hunt. Traffy is gonna say no thank you. Back to the Pokemon Center for you. Chaos Chicken 2. Slowbeam stops it. J-Pod lands on top. Has to use the Fame Sweep as well. How is Traffy still alive?
Oh, Traffy's trying to make a statement now, but he knew we doubted him coming into this, and that is impressive.
He has the stream on. They're listening. They're listening. They said, it's time to lock in. I'm going to make these casters look a fool. But, buddy, you have done that.
Man sat forward in his chair right now, bro. He's leaning forward now that he's got that Absol ready.
Engage gamer mode. But it's going to be about 40 seconds between all 10 of these players. Have to engage gamer mode. Showmaker's going in. Raichu gets sent back to the Pokemon Center. Dakira is here to defend that pad. Those headphones are on. He's listening to music. He's getting in the groove. But everybody from Cafe Du Martin says, nah, I don't want to deal with you. That's a level 15 Traffy with 20 seconds to go. And they found Showmaker. The duel is on. Absol has to pop the Unite early. Showmaker gets taken out with 13 seconds left to go until Rayquaza spawns. They will be back just in time.
That isn't where you want to use your Unite move, but you have taken out a level 14 Blaziken, and now the Rayquaza spawns. You have to capitalize on this if you're leftover OP, and that's what Mamoswine's trying to do as they dive on in. Darkira doesn't do enough just yet, though. They have to take out Japer here, whilst they don't have Blaziken back in this fight. Thunderstorm Aerial is going to go down, and leftover OP haven't done enough with the KO that they got on the side of Blaziken. A massive Flame Charge comes on through from that Talonflame, and Japer finds the KO onto that, the Alolan Raichu, buddy. Looking for more here is Volto, but Fly is going to keep Japer out of the fight, and Showmaker comes back for their revenge against Traffy. Now Cafe Du Martin have the advantage. They do take out the Blissey, though, and the Slow Beam is going to go onto that Volto in return. Wow, this is back and forth, but now the rip on the Rayquaza comes out from Cafe Du Martin. It's only Darkira here that can stop anything as they dive on in, but it's none other than Showmaker who takes the Rayquaza, and now Hundo Burgers can rain on through.
Oh my days. I think I'm running out of words to describe the incredibleness of these matches. What a match. What a game 5. Holy! I thought Raichu would be there. Raichu was there to put the Electro Ball down, and then with the Thunderbolt to explode it. But you can't out-secure a Blaziken when it's inside the Rayquaza pit. Oh my! 223 to 144. All teams, all 10 players. Lara, Volto, Traffy, Nolan, Dakira, Cascade, Japer, Showmaker, Voxshow. Oh my god, I can't. As Alito, take a bow. You all just put on a banger of a best of 5 series. Take a bow. That was such an enjoyable set to watch. That was such an enjoyable back and forth games to watch. I'm tired just by watching that, brother.
I mean, at Showmaker, what a way to bounce back, mate. You were shut down in that 4th game. You weren't able to do anything on that Blastoise, but you get on that Blaziken and you do 48% of your team's damage in a game.
I think it was 104k.
It was. Right? Yeah, it was.
104k.
Mate. Wow. What a way to bounce back, mate. But I gotta say, despite the fact that Traffy and Japer have been fighting it out as those ranged attackers all set, to see them on the speedsters was so exciting. It was crazy.
It was very exciting because it was just a whole lot of, I don't know what I'm about to witness. But look, we're witnessing Absol Unites come out of nowhere. At the Rayquaza fight, we saw Japer's Flame Sweep come in out of nowhere. This hunt down by Traffy was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Gets a 4 KO streak and then has the audacity to take the buff on the way out. Picks up the KO on the Slowbro. We see Japer come in here at one point and Flame Sweeps into the Alolan Raichu and takes them out of the fight completely. This, again, was a beautiful try push. Mamoswine gets its evolution, pops its Mammoth Mash Unite move straight away. I mean, again, I think I'm running out of words to describe these. I need to open a dictionary, and I need to start... I need a thesaurus. I don't even know another word for thesaurus. I need ChatGPT to help me out with ways to describe the incredible Pokemon Unite that we have witnessed. Guys, for everyone in chat that's watching, just please give these guys a GG. That was such an amazing performance.
07s in the chat, bro. But no, I think what it is what I want to know is who you think your MVP of each team for that entire set is, bro. I mean, going off me, I'm going to give it to Traffy for the set. I feel like, yeah, we've talked about them all along, and they did some adjustments on the different Pokemon they were on. The Absol, to begin with, had difficulty in this game, but they locked it in, buddy. So, to me, I'm giving them my MVP for the entirety of the set, but we cannot take away from what we just witnessed Showmaker do in that game, mate.
It's so hard, dude. It's like, it's so incredibly hard to pick that. But in all honesty, I have to go with Showmaker for that. That Blaziken performance, the Cinderace performance, the Latios performance. Again, just locked in. And again, I know I want to take this moment to really just kind of drill down on this. It's so easy for us to pick attackers as the standout MVPs, but Dakira, Azalita, Lara, and oh god, this is why I'm messing up the names right now. And you know what? I cannot. Oh, Voxshow. I'm so sorry. Voxshow. The tanks and supporters throughout those entire games, whether it was Lapras, a Blastoise, Trevenant, Ho-Oh, outstanding plays from those defenders, leading from the front, setting up plays for the attackers that we mentioned to play their game. I pointed out the Espeon game 1, the Eldegoss, between the positioning between the Ho-Oh and the Espeon to not only absorb hits, but then give the space and healing. As much as we can talk about Cascade and Volto and Japer and Showmaker, I mean, and Traffy, we can talk about them. I'm trying to remember all the names. It's so hard. we could talk about them all the time, but not enough goes out to the supporter and defender mains that do such a fantastic job to enable these players. So that's my little spiel. I think Tano and I need to take a little bit of a break because we have another best of 5 coming up. Guys, don't go anywhere. It's probably going to be like a 2-3 minute break while we grab a drink, probably take a bathroom break. You guys should also do the same. Grab a snack, grab a drink. Don't go anywhere. There's more Unite Fight Club coming your way momentarily.
But why is it Fire Sky Ruins when it should
No, we're not starting this again, buddy. Like, I understand Rayquaza's in the sky.
And bro, all they've done is taken out 4 bushes and just made it a little bit red. Like, it's still sky ruins,
They have to take out the bushes because Groudon is a ground magma Pokemon. They can't have bushes next to Groudon.
Put him on the ground.
They're gonna be on fire. They're gonna be on fire. Like, I don't know what you want me to. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but we have more pressing concerns. We'll talk about this next week when we actually see the changes. But for the moment, welcome back everybody to the Unite Fight Club. It is Fight Night, baby! We had a fantastic set of 5 games that went the distance. 3-2 to Cafe du Martin. And now we are going to go to our second set of 5, and these teams are stacked. We are going, the teams are Clefty and Anomaly. Now, I know these players are already ready to go, but mate, we've been informed by production that there are some very notable players on this team. So we have already had our fill and our favorites of the previous team. So now Tano and I are going to have to do it all over again and find out how these teams are going to stack up against each other. Do you think we're going to see a little bit more of the same bands? Because we saw very different bands 2 days ago, you know, like completely different.
I think knowing these teams, these 2 teams coming into it and these players, I think the bans will be very similar, if a slight adjustment to some target bans, buddy. Not Anomaly, the team that is coming up next, chat, and we're about to bring you into the draft screen, so you're going to see these names anyway. It's got some players on it that you probably haven't seen in the scene a little bit, but they are well-renowned players of a team that people will remember as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, 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 or just A, B, C, D, because I call them Team Alphabet, because come on. Like,
Team Alphabet. I like that.
Team Alphabet. They are a Spanish team, and of course, everybody will recognize Recur and Borty from the EU region on that team. Recur, one of the best junglers in the EU region, but I believe now they're playing the top lane. We'll have to keep an eye on that, buddy. But it's all about this Clefty stack for me because
God,
look at those names.
So we've got co-founder Christo, we've got Toast. And I think probably yours and I's favorite support player in Narami coming through as there. This is gonna be such a good thing. I'm kind of hoping that this goes to another 5, as much as my voice doesn't want me to handle it. Charizard, Lucario, Latios, and Suicune gonna be banned off. Lucario seems like a very target pick to me. Latios ain't nobody want to deal with the amount of damage that Pokemon is dealing right now. Suicune, yeah, stop it. I like not being frozen. Thank you very much. And Charizard, well, I also don't like being burnt. Narami's going to pick up Ho-Oh to start the game off. Borty going to be surfing and turfing with that Raichu. And Jeremy going to try and take some naps all over there. Sky rules.
I've just seen the Pikachu like hollow plate that you had done. It's absolutely stunning, but we won't see any more of that just yet. But yeah, Jirare, one of the, if not the best defender outside of Bruv here in the EU region, buddy. And yes, we've already said Narami is one of our favorite support players, if not one of the best here as well. So this is such a close matchup. It's exciting. I can't wait to see how it shakes up. Christo's going to lock in the Buzzwole for Clefty stack here. What is a Yami going to lock in return? The Hooper could be a good steal here, but Clefty stack, they're not going to let Narami have that Hooper from the get-go. They want to leave that in their back pocket for later on, buddy.
We know how tricky Narami is on that Hooper, so they can definitely play that later on. But it looks like we're going to have a muscle off, a pose off, a baby oil off, if you will, with those all-rounders, the Muslim men, Buzzwole and Machamp coming to the fray. Champiris is going to pick up Mew. We talked about Mew being one of the most interesting Pokemon to play. Just has so many versatility, just able to go around, do damage, be a support. It does so much. Toast, who we haven't seen them in a hot minute, but I'm very excited to see the queen coming to the stage again. Jose, another name that I recognize very, very well. Picking up a Leafeon now. We know how dangerous that Leafeon is in that early game, buddy.
Well, we do know who the central area is for Anomaly, but who is it going to be for Clifty Stack so far, because Toast is the central area, or was for Komai Esports in the previous World Championships that just happened, buddy. So are they going to do the same here for Clifty Stack? Because they're on the Serena. But I think that's probably the best shout for taking it into the central area. You usually have the Buzzwole in the top lane, and you'll probably send Fizzy down into that bottom lane. So it makes sense to get that Evo early enough to put a dominant onto that game in the top pad.
Now, we were talking about matchups before. We've got Champerers versus Bordy with the range attackers. We've got Riker versus Christo on the all-rounders. Toast possibly going up against Jose in this battle of the central laners. But for me, this one comes down to the battle of the supports and defenders. Narami taking on Ayami. I love the name difference there. As well as we've got Fizzy taking on Jerui. I'm looking forward to this battle coming through because we know that these supports and defender players are so pivotal and key to this match. Ho-Oh is going to be near unknockoutable. So I can't say the other word that we're not supposed to say. But having Ho-Oh also in the same matchup and the same competition as a Clefable is nightmare fuel.
No, it really is, buddy. So it is going to be Toast that takes the central area for Clifty Stack here. And of course, no surprises. It's going to be Jose doing the same for Anomaly. Down in the bottom path, though, Jirare likes to get dirty to begin with, buddy, as they go in with that Snorlax, looking to be an absolute nuisance. Gets you down pretty weak. There comes the boosted. You might go down here with the effort from Borty, the eject button, and finds the KO.
Oh, Borty wanted that eject, but it was a battle of electric in that bottom pass with Mew using that electro ball. But now Borty's in a problem. But Jerui not gonna let that Ho get anywhere near. We saw Leafeon going straight, looking into that enemy team central area to see if Serena had collected that middle farm. But now going back, I mean, I think it's gonna go and do a little bit of window shopping for himself. Get back that blue buff.
Narami getting ready to get their Regieleki just a couple of minutes early, buddy. But they're going to sneak round for some more stacks here as Jirari tries to absorb all that damage. But instead, Clifty Stack managed to grab a lot of that farm. Don't manage to get out, though, does Fizzy, because Jose has put a stamp on that KO.
Now, Jose is probably one of the most annoying Leafeon players I've ever seen. They are just everywhere and anywhere, all over that map. Look at where they're going right now. Doesn't even matter that there's a Ho-Oh in. Takes down the Steenie. Are they going to secure the buff as well? They are. No, Narami is in a bit of bother. Doesn't like the fact that they're going to face down a Ho-Oh. Machamp using those muscles to run. Slams them down. Both saw in a deal here, but Clefable there to heal them back up. And it's the first time, my buddy Tano, that we're seeing that Hooper Highway come into effect.
Still a very close game in the early stages, buddy, but it's Jose that is managing to find the KOs and find the levels. They've hit level 6, so has Machoke, to be fair. Recur is at a good stance right now as well. 750, and we have found even more points for Clifty Stack, though. Taking a little bit of a point lead right now, but Anomaly are going to make them punished for it. Toast looks to get some revenge, goes back into Borty, gets a nice shield from none other than Narami, and finally gets back to their pad.
That was a beautiful play by Ayami there to just push Toast back away from collapsing on Bordy. They had to go back, and then Riker was there with the submission to try and capture the Queen. Does get the suplex onto the Clefable. The Razor Leaf goes down. There we go. Clefable's almost down here. No! Survives, but goes straight into an Electro Ball. Serena and Boss were going to try and clean up the Altaras whilst also putting damage. Eject Button comes out from Bordy. They set down the portal. Is it going to be enough? No! Toast just misses Machoke, but does a drop kick back. Machamp picks him up. Machoke picks him up, slams him down. No, but it is Buzzwole that gets the slam. Bordy wants to get the extra KO, but can't risk being taken down by the big, beefy Bug.
Wow, Toast, buddy. They were so close to getting KO'd, but they find the KOs instead. And now it's 45 points to 3, and they're very close with those points. But looking at the levels, they've managed to catch up on the side of Clifty Stack. They're going to get that Regieleki. Here comes the basement Reggie Rip coming from Anomaly. Fizzy's trying to get themselves back into it, as we found the secure from Champaris. And now it's going to be the secure for the Alolan Raichu. Borty manages to find that for their team, but they need to back on up here. I wouldn't take that fight without having Machamp.
No, I 100% wouldn't. They just need to get that evolution. They could run into a big problem here with Buzzwole lurking board. He's just going to set those mines down. I think that's really clever, the Alolan Raichu pick, because setting those mines down means Toast and Buzzwole can't just dive on in the way they used to. That drop kick, such a useful move for Serena to get in and out, but Ho is just going to absorb all of those electric grenades. They're still seizing each other out. Only 3 points on the side for Anomaly right now.
Juraray's like, I'll take your damage all day long, Fizzy, don't worry about it. But now they do spawn in these birds. Massive beam comes through from you, and they're going to get the boosted onto the big one as well. Again, they're just going to take all that flame in their face. Is that a yawn that I just saw from Juaray? I think they put Ho-Ho to sleep. I love that pick here, buddy. While the fight continues in that top side, 106 points now to Clifty's stack, though. Anomaly need to think about getting some points in.
Jeremy is not the only one feeling yawny and sleepy, but Yu is doing a fantastic job with these coaching, using the coaching into the Electro Ball to try and get a few executes. Big Heavy Slam's going to knock up 2 big beefy boys, but Buzzwole just pushes them away like they're nothing. Nothing funnier than seeing a big thick boy like Snorlax fly through the air pretending to be Superman. We're hitting that 5-minute mark, and these teams are just going for a little bit of farming right now, Tano. They're slowing the pace down. They're not jumping in too quickly. They're kind of just, you know, prodding and poking and seeing where the weaknesses are in each person's defense. Now that we have Machamp online, those fists are going to start flying at any minute now. Just got to see which objective they decide to go for. Anomaly looking for top path. Clifty Stack might want to go for this bottom path.
I do like this, though. I mean, it's only going to be a 6-over cap onto that pad, but they found points that they were looking for, and now the rings are just let loose from Hooper here. We do see the Buzzwole coming on in. Christo has managed to find the support. The Swole Slam's going to come through to take the Hooper out of that fight, changing the way that Anomaly might want to approach it. Christo does manage to put up a good effort, but the triple comes through from none other than Jose. That's a quadra, baby, as they start to make a stamp on this fight. Toast trying to do whatever they can to keep up, but it's an almighty penta for Jose, and Registeel is taken by Anomaly.
I have to say, that Penta was a team effort. We saw them at Championship submission, and then the Raichu getting a grenade down as well. But now they're going to try and look to pressure this bottom pad. Snorlax is going to heavy slam on in. Clefable is there to heal them up, mate. Seeing Ho-Oh fall asleep on a pad, buddy, wake up. It's time to fight, because there is a lot going on. Anomaly have done well to claw this back. They've kept Clefty Stacks at 106 points. Big submission on it to the Ho-Oh. Has to pop that X speed. Does Fizzy to get on out of there. A 40 trying to go in from the Snorlax, stopped by Clefable. The Electro grenades are coming through. The Barrage Blow comes in to send Clefable back to Nurse Joy. But we've got Serena trying to keep the pad, keep her kingdom alive. The HP is draining, and Snorlax and the Raichu finish it off with a heavy slam. Electro Ball combination. Yu is there with the Mew, but Raichu is the OG electric type, trying to take down the Mew as well. And Anomaly looking to retreat now. They put the pressure on. They don't want to give up too much experience.
Well, a way to bounce back, though, buddy. They've now got the lead of this game as we're 50 seconds away from Rayquaza, but it's still incredibly close. But the fact that Jose is level 15 on Leafeon tells you how they've put their own dominance on this game so far. Jurare, with a cheeky yawn, gets themselves out of the arms of Christo as they look for some KOs here, but luckily Hooper is going to send them back for a healthy HP pool. Raichu finds the KO onto Mew, and Champaris is sent packing.
With a absolutely devastating yawn coming out from Jurahwe as they got put to sleep and Electro Balled into oblivion. Bordy was like, that is my KO. You ain't taking it from me, but you can take an assist. 2 minutes on the clock, 6 seconds to go until Rayquaza spawns. 106 to 139. Anomaly is in the lead. Hooper's going to put down a portal. That's exactly what they want right now. But Machamp and Leafeon are lurking inside that top path, looking for a bit of pincer play. The Hooper Rings Unbound could go at any minute, but Buzzwole has jumped on in.
Ooh, that Uber portal's not going to get anybody back, though, as Buzzwole does manage to stop it. Power Nap's going to come through. Thunderstorm Aerial is as well. The barrage blow onto Toast, but it isn't enough just yet. They do manage to get the swing on back, and Jose is taken out from the boosted from Huge, and Paris takes down the carry, but Anomaly have way too many strong picks still on the field. Clefty Stack is left rushing to get people back to this Rayquaza pit. Now it's all down to Narami and Fizzy. They do have the effort to go in with the burn. It was so close, but it's none other than a Yanni that manages to find it for none other than Anomaly.
Oh my god, I thought Ho was going to come in at the last minute and play spoiler with the flamethrower. There's still a minute on the clock. The Hundo Burgers are raining on in for the side of Anomaly. A fantastic fight to play just then. They managed to team wipe everybody except for Narami. They did a bit of a slow-ish rip. I'm not sure if that's just based on the comp that they have, but that Rayquaza was not going down quickly. Ho is going to revive everybody here. So just going to continue fighting on this pad.
Yeah, looks like that's going to be game one going to Anomaly here. And, I mean, Jose was impressive. I know they're on that Leafeon, but when you are up against a stack that is Clefty Stack, buddy, they've got some big names over on that team. They know that they have to limit what Leafeon can do in those early stages, and Jose still managed to come out on top, hitting level 15 before that Rayquaza mark, and they put so much effort into this game. Definitely well deserving of an MVP.
As we go through right now, that is only game one. I do want to point out how, I want to say, different that game one was from the previous set that we watched. A lot more patience. No, patience isn't the right word. It felt like a bit of a calmer game one. Not so much chaos going on. There was a little bit more waiting. There was a little bit more seeing. There was a little bit more back and forth going on between both teams, kind of just seizing each other out. And the same way that Fearless Draft came through, not too many, I want to say, like meta choices coming out. I mean, your Latios, your Suicune, your Charizard, your Lucario, all gone. But, you know, seeing Raichu come out, seeing Machamp come out, always great to see these teams, these Pokemon, Serena coming out as well, is very, very fun.
I mean, Borty, buddy, that was a pretty good showing from the Raichu. It definitely wasn't easy for Clifty Stack to deal with the range that they had on the side of Anomaly, because you did have Jose going in, dropping that damage, getting themselves out whilst dealing with Borty, and Durare is such a fantastic tank player, Lobo. It's impressive how much damage that they absorb from the team and just pull the aggro onto themselves. But Toast was a moment of brilliance on the side of Clifty Stack. I loved the way that they were dominating that top lane on that Serena, mate.
Absolutely. But like you said, the Jirawe on that Snorlax, we were very surprised to see Yawn come out like we did. We've mentioned it every time a Snorlax is picked. It's got such a good utility moveset. Heavy Slam, block, Yawn. We don't talk about Flail just yet, but being able to put Ho-Oh to sleep as well, take Fizzy out of the game completely, allow Machamp to come in and suplex them back into their enemy team and just absolutely burst down a very, very hard to take down Pokemon. I mentioned at the very start of the game, Clefable and Ho-Oh was going to be a combination I thought would be on nigh impossible to take down, but Anomaly managed to do that incredibly well. The lovely combination play for Jose to get that that final KO on to round off his penta. Was a team effort between Machamp, Raichu, and Jose himself on that Leafeon. But again, let's just have a look at this Rayquaza fight. Buzzwole goes in, the eject by Borty to get out of danger, knowing exactly in how much danger they were, popping down the Thunderstorm Aerial, and then from there, everything popped off. Hooper came unbound. The KO started to rain. Buzzwole went down to the Machamp combination with the Snorlax, and then again, going to the different sides to isolate individuals inside that Rayquaza fight. So a really well played Ray fight by Anomaly.
I am loving the amount of Machamp that we're getting to see in these Fearless Draft games, though, buddy. I feel like it's not picked up that often. It's definitely not seen, but I love seeing it. I think it's very exciting, especially because people use that submission. They want to go kind of supporty with it and utilizing it for that CC, but Barrage Blow it's hit or miss. Either you hit it and hit everybody on the team that you were looking for, or people just glide through it like butter and you think it's the most pointless thing in the game, mate.
To me, Barrage Blow and Fairy Singularity from Gardevoir are in the same instance. There's such good Unite moves if you manage to hit a bulk amount of people with it. However, if you pavement ult, a Gardevoir ult, it's just... We've seen it a few times where a pavement Gardevoir Fairy Singularity comes out and we're just like, well, that's not really what you wanted to do with that, you know what I mean? It's the same thing that happens with Barrage Blow coming out from Machamp as well. Again, I guess we might as well do this. Standout player for each side. I'm going to go Jose. Again, with the Leafeon. He's just too good on that Leafeon at the moment. For you?
I'm going to go Jiraiya.
Okay.
On that side, I feel like the Snorlax was I mean, Jiraiya's always on point, but for the Engage, it enables your Jose to do what they do, and it keeps Borty protected. On the other side, though, with Clifty Stack, I feel like I've got to give it to Toast. And, people are going to call me biased. Yeah, fair enough. I love Toast as a player anyway. But I just think that they did manage to dominate that top lane on the Serena and in the team fights when they came in. The entire sort of mindset of that team fight changed, mate. Of course, they couldn't do it without the rest of their team there, but that's my MVP for that team.
I'm gonna have to give it. It's a toss up between Toast and Christo, as well as Fizzy as well. I think Ho, again, such a good placement for the Ho, standing in between its team and everybody else. I think it's very rough going in with two all rounders like Boswell, like Serena, up against Borty on that Raichu. I like that neither of us mentioned Borty, who did 135k damage, but the placement of those Electro Ball grenades that can be exploded really hindered Toast and Christo from going anywhere, really, and which meant Narami had to stay very, very close to either of them to make sure that they were healed up so that they didn't get they could stay in the fights against that. But again, that was game one. We still have a possible 4 more games more to go, and I'm excited about that, but I'm also very concerned for the state of my voice. But these two teams stacked with players, so we could see anything. And I'm actually, because these are players that we know, that you and I have had a chance to cast for, I think, almost a year and a half now. We've seen them in grassroots, we've seen them in UCS, we've seen them through off-season tournaments, we've seen these individual players play. It's very exciting to me right now to see how they function in Fearless Draft. Usually we're not going to see it in game number 1. We're going to start seeing it take effect in game number 2 and 3. So I'm very, very curious.
Yeah, one of the things about Fearless Draft is that not only do you get to showcase how you can counter pick as a team as you get further on into these games, but you can show how flexible you are as a player and your Pokemon pool. Like we talk about it all the time. As a pro player, having a good Pokemon pool is so important. Of course, you don't want to have, every single Pokemon on the list knocked off, but you definitely want to have a lot of flexibility. And, I think of Showmaker when I think of people that have that flexibility. I think of Daddy Leon when I think about people that have that flexibility. And you really get to showcase it here in a Fearless Draft, mate.
And look, we've got Ho-Oh, Talonflame, and Raichu being banned off, which I kind of like here, because we're not seeing the stock standard bans. We're kind of seeing a few maybe target bans come in a little bit more, because these players have knowledge of each other. We're seeing these bans come through. Toast's going to pick up the Charizard. Yame's going to pick up Blissey. Borty's going to go with the Serena. So from ranged attacker to all-rounder is Borty going to go. The Rami going to pick up that patented Trickster. If we see it invade, I am going to leap out of my seat. And Fizzy is also going to pick up Umbreon, as well as Jiraiya is hovering over that Trevenant, now selected it.
Oh, buddy, we've got Jiraiya on Trevenant, we've got Narami on Hooper. This is going to be a hype game because they are on their comfiest picks, and I'm so hyped for it. Recur's going to lock in the Buzzwole again, taking that away. Of course, Christo couldn't play it anyway. It's Fearless Draft. But I like Toast being on this Charizard. Again, once that gets let through, which is going to have to, because you do want to ban these more important damaging Pokemon, they've just dominated with Raichu, thanks to the power of Borty, so they don't want them to have the access to that, and it means they get that Charizard.
This is interesting right now because Champions has gone with the Espeon, Christo's gone with the Lucario, possibly another E-Speed Lucario coming out. Jose gonna stick with the Evolutions. Hello. This is our first Sylveon that we are seeing come out to play. I'm just looking at that cursed item and thinking it's gonna possibly be Hyper Voice.
Yeah.
I'm a think that it's gonna be Hyper Voice. No.
Jose's keeping us on our toes, bro.
Jose?
Is it Hyper Voice? Nah, bro.
Jose?
We're going for the mystical fire.
But this is also interesting to me because now we've got to kind of swap here, because Bordy was playing that ranged attacker, and I think you and I like to see this come out from these players going on to Pokemon that they is in a different role from the previous game that we just saw. So we are seeing Jose put on Double Band and Spoon, perhaps Mystical Fire right now, because I don't think Hyper Voice works that well into that comp. I think Mystical Fire probably does a little bit better here, allowing Draining Kiss to heal you up just a little bit. Also, whether Espeon decides to play Psyshock or Stored Power, Sylveon's Mystical Fire does have a nice little back and forth battle that it could have with its counter evolution.
Yeah, the thing is, it's Jose MF, so MF, Mystical Fire, that's what I'm thinking. Jose's already given us the answer with his name, mate. But it is one of those where, like, Hyper Voice just always seems to do well. It's one of those, especially, you can never miss with it, mate. So, if you can never miss with a move, you're always going to do well coming on in. And what you can do well with is when you get home from work and you don't want to have to think about what you want to cook for the night, you do not have to do that anymore with the power of Hello Fresh. There's the promo code at the bottom of the screen. Get yourself 10 free meals and free add-ons for life. You heard me, for life with that promo code.
Oh my god, what a great deal, as we've got a struggle going on inside the bottom lane. There, Trevor is chasing down the Eevee that is not an Umbreon just yet. Bordy is just hanging around with that little bound sweep. Has decided to do a split central lane, which I'm assuming Sylveon has taken the other red buff, allowing Senior to get a few more levels under their belt. They've seen it, and now they've done a turnabout 180. They're not going to stop Charmeleon from getting 60 in, but a Trevenant is going to hurt. But Sylveon is here, and it is that Mystical Fire.
Jose sticking with their namesake, buddy, and that just means there's more pressure now in this lane. It's going to be difficult for them to break through it unless they get those Evos early enough. You is going to have the range with that Espeon, but Sylveon's going to continue to be tanky. That's the thing about Sylveon. It is quite a tanky evolution, especially utilizing that Mystical Fire Draining Kiss build.
We did just see just off the screen down there when we were at the bottom side, Espeon is playing Psyshock. Now we've got Sylveon inside this top path. I like it with Sylveon with these dashes. They're allowed to dash around, get around the map. Cooper's going to go with the hyperspace hole once again. We know Narami does like to play that hyperspace hole. Big stun coming out from Espeon as we get a KO by Christo on the Buzzwole.
Yeah, they've just hit level 5 as well as Buzzwole, so that's not where you want to get KO'd. Looking to go in again is Jose, but sees that Fizzy is trying to chase them down, looking for the citrus berries away from Clifty Stack, and they're going to have the assistance of Jirare, but that's where we're getting the rotation here. Toast is going to find the KO onto Ayami, and now they look to go down into the bottom pad, buddy. It's going to be a KO onto the side of you, and Anomaly want to keep pushing to see if they can get some points in here, but Fizzy won't allow them.
I mean, Serena is just gonna, drop kick her way out here. These boots were made for sliding, if that's just what I mean. And Mystical Fire is just so good at putting pressure on any teammate that decides to come in, because it's just gonna attack anyone that comes forward. Narami does get stunned here, now being focused here by Sylveon. Can't go over the bush. Narami on an HP tree being chased down, finally gets caught by the side of Anomaly. Espeon gets felled by the Queen as well, but Charizard gonna come in with a huge seismic slam.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Jose's going to get themselves out of this either. They don't have their Unite move yet, but he just short of it. And Toast finds the KOs that they were looking for. Registeel Rip is going to come on through now. Fizzy's getting prepared to try and zone out Jirare here, as well as Ayame. The Rip continues on the Registeel. Who's going to take it, though? It's going to be none other than you, who secures it with the side shock. Toast gets the Rip on, and they secure it with Espeon.
I was so hoping that would have been a Blissey steal with the eggs. You crack one egg, you crack them all. Serena's now here to defend this pad. The Psychic Solera is going to come up, not going to fell the Queen, goes into the Queenly Ascendant, stops Toast from making it through the Hooper portal. Fairy Frog's going to come out as well. It's not going to pick up a KO, but it's going to keep Jose nice and healthy as they chase down Toast. Fire v fire. Sylveon's fire is just a little bit more mystical as Narame sends Umbreon and themselves back to the Pokemon Center to get a quick heal.
1 point between these two teams as we hit the 6-minute mark, buddy. They have just locked in that Regieleki on the side of Clifty Stack, and Lucario finds the KO onto the Blissey. Down here, though, it's all about what the Sylveon can do. Jose getting the power of those mystical fires to connect, whilst Durare continues to score, continues with that disruption, and can they break through the wall with Ayami providing that healing? Toast has to come down to make them back away. The sight of that dragon is too much, and they try and get back to their pad.
The dragon that's not a dragon is still as fearful as a dragon of any type. Toast's going to make their way to that central area where they're going to meet the Queen. But here inside the bottom path, Umbreon has its hands full with Trevenant. The Psyshock does go on, but Trevenant just too bulky. But Umbreon's going to make sure it doesn't heal back inside the enemy team's central area. Toast has taken to the skies with the Seismic Slam, picks up a KO streak of 2 to the Queen, and the Sylveon gets sent back to the Pokemon Center as Clefty Stack are looking to make a push on to this bottom path here on the pad. Lucario trying to do whatever they can, gets punched away by Boltzwall. That was a beautiful egg bomb by Blissey to deny them a retreat through to their home pad because of the Hooper portal.
Mate, I was just witnessing Juare put up a fight against 3 of them and push them all the way back to their own pad before they get KO'd. Borty comes out with the Queen Ascendants there looking for a KO themselves, but unfortunately it doesn't come through because Umbreon is too strong of a Pokemon right now. Fizzy pushes on back, and it is going to be an effort from Christo that finds the KO onto Jose, and without your Sylveon here, you are up a creek without a paddle, but that's why Buzzwole comes to save the day. They find the KO onto Umbreon, but it's going to be none other than Toast that locks in the red ice for their team. That's shielding, that's healing. Back to the pad you have to go though, because Buzzwole has locked in from the gym, and Recur is here to lock down the lane.
A 3 KO streak using their own teammates to get those own KOs. He beat Espeon with Narame, picked them up, then ejected onto Narame, and then slammed them down as well. 120 to 146 as we've got another fight possibly breaking out close to the central area as Umbreon is going to try and take this farm away from Buzzwole. Is Buzzwole going to use an Altaria to beat Umbreon? We don't believe in Pokemon v Pokemon violence. Hang on. Yes, we do, because we're about to get another fight coming through with the Phantom Forest. Blissey's trying to heal as much as they can. What a Horn Leech to ensure that they survive. The Seismic Slam is going to come out now, but people get sent back through the portal. They sent back Charizard whilst it was in its Unite, Tano.
That's massive, mate. And there comes the Queen Ascendants out from that Serena, looking to take down the KO onto Toast. If they can, that will be huge. Psychic Solaire's going to come out, though, and they do manage to find the Blissey with it, pairing that with the Side Shock, and they manage to take down Jorare. Not having your tank here anymore means the fight is yours to take home as the Swole Slam tries to connect, and Recur is sent packing.
I mean, now Borty is just going to try to pick up as much experience as they can. Clefty Stack going to turn their attention to this Regieleki. I think it's time to bring it down. We got a minute to go until Rayquaza spawns, but I don't think these players want to heed any kind of warning about taking it slow, because right now we got an Umbreon and a Hooper trying to put pressure on a Sylveon and a Trevenant. I don't think that's what you want to do. They're trying to make it sure that they do not get through. Jiraiya is just playing beautifully aggressive right now, making sure that Narami's portals are not being used by the side of Clifty Stack.
I love how Jirare's playing this Trevenant, but they're just such a great player. But it's all down to just under the 100 points between these two teams, as we've got 14 seconds before Rayquaza is here. They do get the Reggie steal on the side of Anomaly as well. So despite being points down, they have the advantage, but they've got a level 15 Charizard to deal with, buddy. They don't yet have their Unite move to go on into this, and it's literally just come back at that 2-minute mark. But Fizzy trying to ward anybody off, getting close to them in this field right now.
I mean, you had to use their eject button as well because they were dangerously close to being taken down by Sylveon. This is a very close game. Anomaly is just keeping CleftyStack out of the Rayquaza pit. Narami is inside that top part. Could call roll any minute now. Jiraiya is very low health. Has to eject into the Woodhammer. Hornleech misses both of them. Boswell's gone in. They found the Charizard. Unite moves are starting to pop alongside Phantom Forest with the Psychic Select. The Bliss Assistance comes out as well. The beautiful Trevor and Hornleech. And everybody gets sent back by Narami. Narami still hasn't popped the Hooper Unbound yet. We haven't seen the Lucario Unite move, but they could do it any minute. Jiraiya is doing a fantastic job. And there goes Hooper Unbound. Roll call has been done. Midnight Press comes out from Umbreon. Hooper is stunning anything that moves. Ultra Swell Slam sends you back to the Pokemon Center. And Anomaly are taking control of this Rayquaza fight. Lucario is in the middle there with the Aura Cannon. Can they secure it? But no, it is Jose with the Mystical Fire causing the magic for Team Anomaly as Hundo Burgers rain on in.
That was a great effort by Cristo to get themselves in that pit, continue putting the damage onto the Rayquaza and look to use the Aura Cannon to get that secure, buddy. It's just unfortunate that it wasn't enough damage to find it. They knew the position they were in. Anomaly had all the advantage in that final moment. You have to go into that pit and try to force the hand of Anomaly. If you lock in that objective, it's a completely different outcome for the game, but didn't matter because none other than Jose was locked in on the objective at all times.
I've been meaning to ask you this question since we started this match. If Jose MF means Mystical Fire, justify the Leafeon pick for me.
I don't think I can say what the MF stands for in that matter, buddy, because it's a Pokemon game and
you know what?
it's a family-friendly game, bro.
You know what I was gonna tell you? What I was gonna say? Because it's not one of Leafeon's move, but I was gonna be Magical Leaf instead of Razor Leaf.
Oh yeah.
I just had to be like, cause I was like, what could MF really stand for when it comes to Leafeon? But again, what a fantastic battle through that entire thing. You have to give props to Narami there. Tried to get their entire team back, and they did so. Toast with a 90k game. Ouch, with the amount of fire that was raining from that dragon that's not a dragon. But Narami holding that Unite move till the very end, until that rip was about to start. But CleftyStack got pushed out of that Ray pit once again.
And again, mate, we talk about what Unite Fight Club is about the players as it is about the teams. Jose put in a great showing yet again, buddy. Of course, you can't, an absolute shift, mate. You can't do what you do without the rest of your team around you, but just showcasing the flexibility of their evolutions so far, buddy. We've had a speedster, we've had a ranged attacker. I know Mystical Fire Leafeon's an attacker, but if you play it in the right way, it can be quite tanky and take a decent amount of damage as well. It's kind of pseudo tanky in that way, buddy, and I think they did a fantastic job. Now,
my question to you is, does Jose continue on with on the Leafeon, with the EVs? How much? We're not going to put money on it, but are you willing to bet me right now that we're going to see a Glaceon next game?
A Glaceon, Espeon.
We've already seen, we've seen Espeon come out from you, and you did a fantastic job. The Psyshocks were really raining down. We really have seen the utility and brilliance of Psyshock Espeon in these games, especially in the first set. Such an incredible, I think it's such an underrated moveset because stored power it's not a click and press. Or is it click and press?
It's a sure hit. Like
it's a sure hit.
Press it, but it doesn't go off unless there's like a target around, whether that's
absolutely,
an enemy.
Absolutely. But I think we see stored power Espeon a lot more because it does provide that extra movement. Brilliant bit of play by you because they were almost close to getting KO'd before that Rayquaza fight even started. Had to eject across the entire wall to get away, and just the survival instincts of attackers, incredible. The Boswell Serena picks, they got swapped on either side. Lucario put in an absolute shift, did Cristo, especially towards the end of that Rayquaza fight in the middle there. I thought they were going to secure it with the Aura Cannon, but I think they ended up going down before they were able to do that final bit of tick damage that came through. So again, Fearless Draft is really setting the pace right now, as we do see Talonflame, Lucario, Latios, and Raichu getting banned off. Lucario, Talonflame must be target banning right now.
Yeah, I mean, what it is smart here is that both teams are using those bans because of how Fearless works, right? They've played the Raichu, they do not want to go up against it, so they're going to ban it. And we're seeing the same coming out from over on the other side as well. So I like the way that they're playing that, but we are going to see another Charizard on the field. It's Borty that picks it up here. Jiraiya gets access to the Ho-Oh, and considering the trauma that they just caused on that Trevenant, I don't think you want to be seeing that, bro.
No, Jiraiya on a whole is I don't have any words, but this I definitely have some words for. We're gonna be seeing some gulp missiles coming to Theia Ruins. Cramorant, a Pokemon that we do not get to see very often, but it is the range attacker of choice for you going into this next game, as Christo decides to pick up the Aegislash. Now, this is... What am I witnessing? What am I witnessing? Suicune, Zacian picked up. Toast is hovering over Zoroark. Narami. Narami. Don't do it. Don't do it.
They've not yet played Comfey, bro.
They have not yet played Comfey. Hello?
Oh, okay.
Hello? Let's go. Okay. Okay, I see you. I see you. So we've got three purple backgrounds going on the side of Anomaly right now. And a nice little rainbow going for the side.
Hey! Jose, you absolute beauty. Continues the quest with the evolutions, buddy, and it's Espeon.
I absolutely love it. Again, this comes into the conversation I've said before. Nerf the evolutions. Give them a level 5 evolution. That's all I want. That's all I want to happen, is for them to have a level 5 evolution. But Tano, talk to me about this draft. Tell me your thoughts. I like Aegislash. I like Zacian. Two swords going up against each other. We've got Cramorant, Espeon going up against each other. And we've got Ho-Oh and Snorlax going up against each other.
I think if you goes to the air slash dive build here, more maneuverability than probably the Espeon, because I'm expecting it to be Psyshock. But I would probably go for Stored Power actually to try and dodge Toast as much as you can. But what I do like, despite the Comfey was there, they didn't go for it. Narami's going to lock in the Sableye instead, which is just as good, to be honest, because whilst they don't provide the heals, they will absolutely provide the stun to allow Toast to get their combos off, mate. And that's just as important.
And now this is the interesting conversation that we have to have, because we talked about this in Latios' favor before. A Pokemon that is considered incredibly overpowered in ranked and solo queue, but not showing up too much in the competitive side. However, Sableye is a Pokemon that as soon as our solo queue teammates lock that in, we're like, GG, game over, 10 minutes, let's go next. However, competitive players picking up this little gremlin that could, and the fact that it is in the hands of a player such as Narami, I am so excited. And it looks like Anomaly have noticed that straight away, because they've got 3 members in that central area trying to stop one little gremlin.
But in my community games, they throw the Sableye at me because they know how annoyed I get with it in that 5v5 setting. So I love it. I love the call for it here. Anomaly getting very aggressive in this early stages. What's funny is that Jose sometimes uses it against me in community games, so he's probably just sat there laughing his butt off right now.
I won't lie to you. I got asked to play Sableye by chat one time, and I giggled. I giggled my butt off the entire time, because it was actually so much fun if you use it to just hinder and distract your entire team, and your teammates follow up on it. So Sableye is slowly making its way into my books, and I'm loving seeing it in a competitive style, because you don't expect it in lane to do what lane partners usually do. 850 on the clock, and it looks like Clefty Stack is just going to take all of them by itself. We are seeing, I think that was Hurricane. I'm curious if we're going to see Surf come out as well. Honedge really needs to get an evolution and get to Aegislash as quickly as it can.
So it is going to be Psyshock Espeon here, which is so interesting. You do want to stun Toast as much as you can, but it's easier to get the damage onto it with stored power. So Jose is going for the skill shot move, the more difficult move here. Let's keep an eye on how they do with that, because that will really showcase how good of a player they are. And so far, they have capitalized on putting those stuns over, but Narami is going to find them home and send them packing.
Narami found a KO. That is nightmare fuel, if I'm honest with you. Jiraiya also got a KO on Snorlax as well, just putting the flamethrowers on. I'm curious to see more of what Cramorant is going to play. You were right. It's going to be dive air slash for that movement to make sure that they can get away from the Psyshock, to get away from the constant damage from Ho-Oh. But they are on target is Jose.
Have to use the eject button to get out of that one, buddy, and they're going to go back on in, and here comes none other than Toast. Finds the Suicune, looks for the Espeon here, but it's going to be you that finds it, and Jirare's going to fall as well. Clefty Stack really putting their name on this early game.
Narami did a fantastic job there, stunning body on that Charmeleon, making sure there's going to be the nice quick math that's being done as well to ensure that that goes down. Beautiful heavy slam into the Zoroark combination, doesn't pick up the KO. It was just out of range from Toast, but in the top side, Sword Doggo gets the better of the dual sword, and now they're going to try and stack, but Narami is here once again.
That's it, what I was talking about, though. That combo stun. Look at it. There it is. Exactly there. And the boosted comes off from Toast. You pair Narami with Toast boosted. And there's not much that you can do because you're stunned for eternity. And you know that you're going to be going back to that Pokemon Center. Clifty Stack have got it working on that front so far. But Anomaly are looking to bounce back here. Nightfall Daisy is going to come on out. And Toast dives in yet again looking for Jiraiya. And the Ho-Ho can't do anything with Christo in their face. The points rain on through, trying to see if they can find the KO on the side of the Zacian. Psychic Solaire is going to come out as well just to buy a little bit of space for Anomaly here, and it has worked.
What a dodge by that Sacred Sword. It still led to Aegislash being sent back to the Pokemon Center, but Jose almost picking up a quick KO on that Aegislash. They're going to try and get a few stacks in, and now they've got their extra buddy walking it down the lane with Regieleki. Nice Psyshock, the big damage coming from Snorlax, but the block is here to ensure that there's more time. Sacred Sword comes out from the Zacian. However, it's gone in, but Toast is here on the Zoroark. It does not hit the combo, but he does. He picks up a KO streak of 2 with the Espeon and the Charizard being felled. Ho-Oh gets the KO on Aegislash after they send Zacian back to the Pokemon Center.
Buddy, we talk about rivalries. I think this Toast-Jose rivalry right now is one of the best. The Central Area rivalry is off the charts in this one, buddy. We just witnessed Toast clean up the entirety of Anomaly there whilst they were trying to deal with the heavy tanks that were in their face. And on the other side, Jose, again, they're not even on a Central Area Pokemon here. They're on that Espeon, but they're still managing to find the important KOs. They're level 10 so far.
I mean, look, we've got 3 level 10s on the side of Anomaly. We've got a level 12 Toast coming through. Nice Sableye stun on body, and Snorlax just taps it lightly to send it back. There's going to be the revival healing coming out from Ho-Oh. Charizard is back into the fray, but Narami has spotted it to take it out. There's a stun. Sableye uses its Unite move, sends Charizard back to the home base. Cannot be part of the team fight. Has to walk the entirety of the lane once again. Aegislash comes through. Shing, shing. There you go. Sword is going to try and take down the fiery bird. Snorlax is going to take a power nap in the middle of this. There is chaos raining all over this field as Suicune gets stuck between a block and a shield.
No way you can get out of that one. There's the seismic slam. Shields goes up though from Christo, but they're going to find the KO with Jose coming back, and they get a triple on the side of Recur. Now the rip on Regice is here. Narami though, they've showed face. They're still invisible for now. The dive comes out from Fizzy. Sovereign Sword connects through, but it's none other than Narami that takes the Regice, and with the Gatling Gulp missile beam free in here. They rip through the defenses of Anomaly, looking to see if they can get close enough to Jose, but they don't. Yu gets caught in the bush while Fizzy comes round for the flank. Ayame is still up on this field, and it has to be Toast that tries to go for them, but they're not able to do so, and they get out of that situation.
Oh my god, there's not a half a HP bar between three of them, as we now have Zorak. Toast could go down here. Narame's trying to help. The Sableye Unite saves Toast. He's going in with the combo, picks up the KO on the Ho-Oh. The combination play once again from Narame and Toast.
That combo is incredible, mate, and this is the kind of synergy that we talk about with these players. Now, Anomaly, they're definitely putting up a fight, but they're going to need some more points here, buddy. And anytime these fights break out, once Narami and Toast are together, you know they're taking a double KO in that fight.
I mean, it's just audacious, but beautiful block to keep Jose out of this. The side shock does hit Fizzy on that Snorlax. The flamethrower is going to try and do whatever it can. Cramorant has been we've almost just completely avoided Cramorant, but a level 13 Cramorant right now is nothing to play about, nothing to sneeze at. They are doing exactly what they're doing. The combination of Narame and Toast is just allowing Crisco and Narame to do whatever they want to do on these Pokemon. Aegislash going unabated, Cramorant going unabated, Fizzy doing a brilliant job with these. And there's the combination once again between the block and the wide guard, and Jiroe is just stuck right now.
It's those double combos, isn't it? You've got the two, you've got the shields from the Snorlax, the shield from the Aegislash that's really restricting movement for Anomaly. You've got Narami restricting movement whilst Toast cooks them. And then you've just got you sat there in that back lane dropping a huge amount of damage on the Cramorant. So it's actually a really well thought out combos coming out from Clifty Stack in this comp so far. And they're going to get a Regirock to boot for it as well, Lobo.
Oh, that defense buff is kind of crazy, but I think this pop-up is going to go straight away. Is in there with the Rayquaza, just putting some damage on it. Narame is trying to provide the stuns as well. Jose could get a secure with Psyshock. Espeon. Anomaly are looking for the rip early on, but they haven't decided to go full rip here. There we go. Seismic Slap has come out. Charizard's going to unite. Psychic Select came out as well. Power Nap with the Snorlax. Who's going to take it? I think it was Anomaly that took it. No, it was not. It was Clifty Stack that took it. Still have no idea who took the Rayquaza. It was Toast of all people that managed to secure the Green Dragon, and now they get a double stack in that top half.
And we were on match point. Clifty Stack locked in, and now with those Hundo Burgers raining on through, it's out of reach for Anomaly. There's over 500 points between these two right now, and they're not going to be able to do enough to get themselves back into it. Not that they won't go for the effort here, Lobo, but I think we're going to a game 4, mate.
Oh, we're 100% going for a game 4. It's 670 to 87 with 1 minute on the clock. Clifty Stack has just had the Cramorant go down as well. What is Narami doing? This is all day. I just want you to know that I am sat with leaning forward with my hands on my head because on my temples, because I love what I'm seeing here, but I cannot put it into words. But we have all 4 members down right now, and those pockets 46, 38, 23, 25. I don't know if that's going to equal up to 600, but it could be close. It could be close because Aegislash is the only one left here to defend. And Aegislash is gone.
There's not enough points though.
Tano?
Here comes Gatling Gulp Missile. I don't know if there's enough. I don't think there is. They've got 10 seconds left, buddy. They're going to have to get more Hundo Burgers through, and they're not going to be able to score them. There's the Seismic Slam, but again, Toast managed to do enough damage with the Nightfall Days as well. A good effort to rush back from Anomaly. I mean, surprise, surprise, double KO from Narami to end that one off, bro.
It's ridiculous. And not ridiculous in a bad way, but ridiculous in an absolutely fantastic, amazing kind of way. 670 to 297, 14 KOs for Toast and 11 assists. But look who gets the MVP. Narami with 5 KOs and 9 assists and 205 points scored. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think that can be understated, to be honest, mate. I think the entire team from Clefty Stack, everyone was cooking on all cylinders there, mate. Everyone was doing their job well. As we look at the graph here, they were in lead of that game from the early stages, and they kept the lead. They grabbed all of the bottom redges, which is the most important. And anomaly, good effort to bounce on back. Definitely with, again, Jose putting in the most damage, uncontested on that Espeon, until the trio of Fizzy, Cristo, and Toast locked them down, mate.
I mean, again, I have no words. I'm supposed to be able to come up with words for this. I also want to point out, so we saw the damage come out from Toast, 100k. But also, I mentioned this before, went completely, I want to say, almost unnoticed in that entire fight. But you saw how much damage that they dealt. And it was you on that Cramorant. Just diving and air slashing their way around. Just being able to do 90k damage whilst you have a combination of Narami and Toast on that Zoroark. You did their job and did their job perfectly. Also, Fizzy on that Snorlax, chasing down at any point that they could. Brilliant play from both teams, man. Just brilliant. It's the kind of games you want to see come out of Fearless Draft. And I'll be honest, and that's why I think we find Fearless Draft so exciting. Maybe some people might not find it exciting because it doesn't fit into the best Pokemon that are being played at the moment. But I think that's the best part of Pokemon Unite, is that we have such a wide roster. At some point, not every Pokemon can be viable, but every Pokemon has its place within a team composition.
Yeah, I think that's fair, mate. I think that the thing is, like, Fearless Draft, it's not the official Pokemon Unite tournament way of playing it, so, you know.
It should be.
It should be. That would be incredibly exciting.
Hot take.
Hot take right here, bro, on the Engage desk. I do think that, you know, I understand why some players would feel that way, because ultimately you are going to have a sort of limited mon pool that you're going to be playing in these official tournaments, and you need to keep your practice up on those Pokemon, whereas Fearless Draft forces you to have to play more Pokemon and go deeper into that pool. So it's incredibly fun to watch. It's incredibly fun to cast. I can understand some pro players feeling a little bit like, well, you know, I'm not going to get too much out of this because I need to play the meta picks. And that is the pro player mindset, and it's completely understandable why it is.
I totally get you. And it's, you know, it's ways in which these type of grassroots style tournaments that we put on can do this kind of thing for us, where we get to see a lot of underutilized Pokemon being picked. Right now, we're seeing Lucario and Talonflame being banned off once again, alongside Alolan Raichu and Latios. These are becoming more common bans that we're seeing right now. And for those of you who are probably just joining us, the little graphic down the bottom is Fearless Draft. So all the Pokemon that the players have already picked cannot be picked again. You must choose a completely different set of 5 Pokemon to your previous game. We're going to get Mewtwo Y locked in straight away, but this is still match point for Anomaly.
Oh, they've swapped teams, bro. So I was sat there thinking, why have they banned out the Raichu when, like, Raichu was already played by the opposition?
That's exactly what I saw too. It took me a minute. It took me a minute. But Anomaly, I believe, are now on your purple side, and Clifty Stack are going to be your orange team.
Interesting that they've decided to swap sides this time, buddy. Having taken that first loss so far, but Narami is going to lock in the Suicune here, and Ayame has already locked in the Comfey. So now that they've lost the game and they are still on match point, chat.
I'm waiting for Jose. I'm waiting for Jose's pick. Either they stick with the Evolutions pick, or we're seeing a Zoroark come to the play. Or a Zoroark. We might not see any of those, and I'm just overhyping this as much as we can. We are seeing Narami go a little bit more of a offensive style supporter this time around with the Suicune, and Cristo's going to lock in the Sword Doggo, and Jose has broken his streak of going with Evolutions, my friend.
I mean, it's still technically a fox, right? I guess that's one way of looking at it.
Zorakion. Zorakion. This is okay. So I'm actually really excited because right now I think this is the second appearance of Mr. Mime. And I like it as a counter to Zora, because if you put up those walls, that's a problem. And I also like Toast's pick of Mimikyu, not because I am Mimikyu is my main, and I love that Pokemon so much, but I love seeing Toast play this Pokemon. But your favorite Pokemon is going to go up against my favorite Pokemon. So this isn't a battle between the two teams or the players on screen right now, Tano. This is a battle between you and me.
Oh my god, and the thing is, like, I don't know who wins this, bro, but I feel like I love the Gengar. It's definitely struggling in the meta at the moment, but what they're up against, I don't know. I like it. I'm on board with it, and Recur is a fantastic player.
I just want to ask you one thing. How are those items looking for you?
Well, I was keeping an eye on that, bro, as they're adjusting through their items right now. Definitely, I expect them to change even more, or maybe we've got an issue. Maybe we're not going to have Gengar in this game, bro, and that is, you know, an issue that we've had. I think production is just confirming with them. Yeah, we're going to wait for production to confirm, because Recur had 2 held items there, bro.
Yeah, we will. I do believe there is a little bit of an issue. I don't know how long it's going to take to sort out.
We're not going to have
don't know. Tano's so upset that there's no Gengar, but I was so excited for the Gengar Mimikyu off, because it's the first time Tano and I can go head to head at the casters, because usually we're on the same team. We're on this this way. My camera's like reversed. So it's the first time.
This way.
So I think we're just going to get word from our production. Maybe we throw it to a quick break, have a quick drink of water before we get started with the next thing, because we're going to have to possibly reset the draft once again. So I think Tano and I are going to take a quick break, a quick drink as well. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll get back here. It is match point for Anomaly. Clefty Stack have to win one more to send it to game number 5. Don't go anywhere. It's getting super exciting here. It's our final set of the night at INGAGE Fight Club. We'll see you guys very, very shortly for game number 4. Yeah. So they're bringing Reggie Drago back into the Central. So it's going to be Reggie Drago versus either Atares, Reggie Drago, and now Reggie Lecky, it can go bottom or top, and the other Reggies can go bottom or top. Okay, that makes a little sense, you know.
It does, but we're still on the same map. It's still Fayette Sky Ruins with Groudon.
No. You and I will discuss this at a later date. Okay? I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
But we got game number 4 of this Unite Fight Club, baby! Raichu, Suicune, Talonflame going to be as is Lucario. Guys, we are sorry for the interruption. Narami got into our systems with that wonderful Sableye play and messed up a little bit of jiggy jig. So we did have to reset. And we're going to do the redraft from the beginning. So everything you saw before is not been locked in just yet. We have got a Latios being picked up in the first spot. What are we going to see on the side of Clefty Stack?
Well, Yu's going to lock in the Mewtwo Y here. Fizzy's going to get access to the Trevenant. And if things are to go by what I expect, Jose should pick up the Umbreon here realistically. Because, yeah, they may be the carry, buddy, but they've played Evolution so far. So you've got to throw the Defender one in, right?
No, there's still one Evolution left that they haven't picked. Glaceon. If there is no Glaceon, come on. Well, Juare is going to pick up Crossel. We know how much of a fan favorite Crossel is. Ayame going to pick up the Cream Puff. Narami cannot play Hooper again, unfortunately. Christo going to lock in possibly the Sword Doggy, as we are seeing... Ooh, wait. Narami? Narami. Hold up. Wait a minute.
No, someone ain't right.
Okay. All right. Defender Galarian Rapidash. Supporter Galarian Rapidash. With an EXP share and stacking specs plus a potion. I'm hoping that is not another misclick. But we are going to see what's going on over on the other side. Rikier and Jose going to pick up 2 Pokemon. Absol and Blazion, as we like to call it. Nope. Inteleon! It works either way.
Jose is like, Inteleon's an evolution. What do you mean? Look at the name, bro.
Inteleon is an evolution. What are you talking about? We saw Toast hovering over the Scizor/Scyther before with the full heal, attack weight, Razor Claw, and the Muscle Band. Is that a Scyther? I feel like that's a Scyther.
Yeah, that is a Scyther, mate. Look at the team that they're against, bro. Look at the squishies. That's a Scyther all day long.
Okay, well, you know what? You probably have the more experience here. I'm more focused on the Galarian Rapidash. It's the first time we're seeing the Galarian Rapidash. It's an EXP share Galarian Rapidash, plus a stacking Galarian Rapidash. How many times can I say Galarian Rapidash in the space of 15 seconds as we count down this timer to go? It's going to be an interesting one. This is game number 4. It is match point for Anomaly. Do they lock in and take the set right now? Or do Clefty Stack lock in their own? They locked in that previous game. Do they lock in right now, bring it to 2-2, and sending us to a game 5 situation? Talk to me about Rapidash.
I mean, Galarian Rapidash, they could go for the reverse sweep here, by the way, Clifty, and that would be incredibly impressive if that's what we end up with, buddy. I mean, knowing Unite Fight Club, that's what's going to happen. But yeah, Galarian Rapidash. So, Narami is utilizing the EXP share, utilizing the stacking. The thing is, Galarian Rapidash is very much like Greedent. Just think of it as a Greedent, and that's exactly how Narami is going to use Galarian Rapidash.
I hate the reasoning. I can't define the reasoning. Narami.
Case in point, bro.
You're cooking. You're cooking just like you guys can be cooking with your 10 free HelloFresh meals and free add-ons for life using that code that you see down below. Thank you, HelloFresh, for supporting the Unite Fight Club. We really, really appreciate you guys. Hook you guys up with some wonderful food that you can cook yourselves whilst these players cook on Thea Sky Ruins. A lot of pressure being put on Clefty Stack, who are on your orange side right now. They have swapped sides, or normally on your purple side. Mr. Tano.
Ooh, are they going to be able to get anything with this? Oh my god. Toast comes in and cleans it up anyway. Narami on the adorable Ponyta has just done what you'd use a gradient for anyway, buddy. You go in there, you take the farm away, and you've pulled so much attention away from these lanes that 44 points have been scored and KOs have rained on down already. Toast is level 5, nearly level 6.
Toast has to watch out right now because Latios can do a lot of damage to his squishy speedster. Because as much damage as Scyther can put out, it is still a speedster. It still does have that squishy moniker to its name. Inteleon does need to get some evolutions, but inside that top path, Zacian takes down Absol. Galarian Ponyta has evolved into the fanciful unicorn.
Alright, and now we're beginning to get those power spikes that are going to make the difference, because now Narami's going to be even harder to catch, buddy. And this just, again, showcases the different flexibility that these individual players have. I already thought that Narami was one of the best support players in EU, and they're showcasing it on a speedster support here, bro.
I mean, who says that you have to use a Pokemon in its designated category? I mean, this could be exactly what they need to do because it's still running that EXP share. It's being annoying. It's like you said, you made it what is the word I'm using for? The similarity to Greedent and Sableye. But then look at that, able to do big damage onto Bordy. It's slowed down, but they can't get away from it. Oh wait, Narami's turning around because the rest of their team, left of Clefty Stack, is right there to stack up right on top of Anomaly.
Alrighty, so 720s are about to come on in. It is going to be Narami and that Zacian up in that top lane, trying to put the pressure on as Anomaly throws most of their team up there. Still looking for this evolution on the side of Jose. Inteleon on the field. Snipe Shot has access now, and they're going to need that to find these crits. Doesn't find it on the side of Toast.
I mean, Scyther already has access to its Unite move. The only one on the board that does have access to its Unite move. Toast looking for that green illusion dive to hit that Inteleon as hard as it possibly can. Picks up the Regirock, got that extra defensive buff. That's exactly what Trevenant wants to see. There's the Unite move. Doesn't get out of the way. No! Narami comes with the assistance. Absol gets sent back to the Pokemon Center. Empty stack. 82 to donuts. We said they might just lock in. They seem to have locked in. Toast gonna get some heals back at the Pokemon Center.
Alrighty, so 82 points to 0 so far, buddy. Anomaly are struggling. They're still looking for some points on the board as we hit the mid-game here. Infinite Cybern's going to come on through from you, looking to get the KO onto Jirare. There goes the Eon Blast and sends that legendary Pokemon back to the Pokemon Center. But still, no points on the board for Anomaly.
I mean, this is just the pressure. Like, what do you do when you're faced with something that is so outside of left field? Is this because of Fearless Draft? Or is this because Clefty Stack went, nah, you know what? Let's mess with them a little bit, and decided to throw and support Galarian Rapidash. Absol's going to use its Unite move to secure that Regieleki. Going to try and pick up some KOs as well. The Triad Blitz comes down from Narami to lock some people in as well. Post picks up a KO, sends Latios back to the Pokemon Center. Crustle finds the Majestic Unicorn, Rock Tombs them in, but Toast is right there to help out. Alcremie could get that cake cut in half, split into 5 equal pieces, but Toast decides to share with the rest of the squad.
Narami continuing to run into the central area just to take everything they possibly can. I haven't seen Anomaly on the back foot like this, like at all so far, buddy. And it's great to see the effort from Clefty Stack, really strong. As soon as they lost those 2 games, they have locked in, mate, and we might have a reverse sweep on our hands.
I mean, this looks like, I want to say, a late game style comp for both teams. Inteleon still at level 9. Access to Unite moves are coming on deck. That is something actually you wouldn't mind seeing if you're Clefty Stack when you've got Toast sitting at that level 12 at the 5-minute mark. Zacian does go down to the Latias. It is a short hit move, which means Narami is not out of danger here. Alcremie is going to pop their Unite move as well. Just trying to do it. Phantom Forest is going to come out as well. The pressure onto this top path is coming, but Rapidash managed to get some damage onto Inteleon. Jose has been caught, gets stunned once again. Oh my god, the stack of stun stunned is too much for Jose. Gets sent back to the Pokemon Center, gets side shock. There is action going all over. Latias picks up a KO on Narami, gets sent back to the Pokemon Center, and now these teams just have to reset. But Crossel wants to keep fighting, and so does Toast. Goes in with the Unite move, picks up a KO on Latias, picks up a KO on Alcremie, and Teleon is the next one to fall, and Absol gonna dive in a 4v1 situation, and Toast's gonna break this with 50.
Buddy, they just got the Alchemy Unite move, they just got the Azure Spy Vision coming out from Inteleon, and Anomaly didn't get a single point in that pad. Instead, Toast gets plenty of KOs, and it's going to be a rip on that first pad that they managed to get themselves on the side of Clifty Stack. What a way to swap it around and continue to dominate this game. It seems like this is a completely different team from Clifty Stack. As soon as they lost those first 2 games, bro, they have locked in.
I mean, you know, these players just like playing Unite. Maybe they just wanted to play a few more games, and ranked just wasn't cutting it. The Unite Fight Club is where you make your name, where you win your titles. Inteleon almost getting caught up by Narami again on that Rapidash, trying to be sniped down, but just breaking ankles is Narami.
I mean, as far as expedition matches go, these two tonight have been incredible. Anomaly here are finally going to get themselves a decent overcap of 42 points in that T1 pad, and now they're going to look to get a KO here as well. Doesn't find it on Christo, surviving 1 HP in a dream. Toast coming through again with those executes, but finally connecting is Jose, finding the Inteleon snipe shot and looking to see if they can find Narami with it breaking the ankles, but Borty was there to clean it up.
I mean, Narami was doing everything to dodge with the short hit move coming out from Latias. Not only that, but alongside the Crossel and trying to dodge the Inteleon snipe shots, I think Narami gave their team enough time to secure this Registeel, because in a blink of an eye, Tana, we've just been wondering what's been happening in this game. We are 12 seconds away from Rayquaza, which also means Clifty Stack, you can see the timer in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That's how long they have that Registeel buff going for a minute. So for the next minute, they are buffed, they are locked, they are loaded, they are ready to go. They want to take this to a game 5. Can Anomaly hold them off? Because Narami's lurking, so is Toast, so is everybody else. It might go the distance, but Narami might get caught out.
Ooh, if they can catch Narami here and Christo to boot, that will be a completely different kind of game. Christo does go down. Anomaly out of nowhere are going for the rip on the Rayquaza because they've taken down the Secure. The Sovereign Sword is no longer here. The Green Illusion Dive is going to come through, but Alchemy has got access to their own Unite move. Toast trying to hold off on theirs just yet. Juari pots the Rubble Rouser, and they're trying to zone him out. Toast goes in, and it's going to be the Green Illusion Dive that finds it, as if to make more of a statement at being one of the best junglers here in the EU region. Toast locks this in to go to a game 5.
We are going to a game 5. The support Galarian Rapidash worked.
I mean, wow.
I've got no words. I've literally got no words. Clifty Stack from 2-0 down have now brought this back to a 2-all tied ball game. We are going to match final point. This is tiebreaker. This is do or die. This is gut check time for both teams. Holy. I don't think we really have, we can. I want to say the pop-off moment from Toast kind of has to take it, right? I mean, we can give it to Narami. We could. I mean, support Galarian Rapidash. Like, I mean, do you? Sure. But Toast coming in at the last minute with that Green Illusion Dive to secure the Rayquaza, then pick up the KOs. Outstanding. Just outstanding.
Absolutely, mate. Anomaly were winning that fight. They were getting that Rayquaza.
Yeah.
Toast has single-handedly given as a game 5 here, and you know they put up a fantastic effort throughout the entirety of that game. The Clifty stat that we're seeing now is a completely different team from game 1 and game 2, bro. That's what we're witnessing. But look at the highlights here. They've locked in the carries, the Sovereign Sword isn't there. You can go for that rip, and Green Illusion Dive does a great amount of damage when you hit that second set, but you don't use it for a secure, you use the dual wing beat. But Toast just locks in. They know they are surrounded by Anomaly, and the only way that they can win that is with that one Unite move, bro.
Narami went down early. They took out Trevenant. Mewtwo was also on dangerously low health. So towards the end, it was only Toast and Mewtwo, and Narami came back at the last minute. We saw the Infinite Cyberbeam come down, but Green Illusion Dive, and without wasting a beat, without wasting a single second of time, ladies and gentlemen, it is game number 5. Who takes it? Because we've got Latios, Raichu, Talonflame, and I'm gonna guess Lucario?
Yeah.
Is it Lucario? It's Comfy. Sorry, I didn't mean... that was a slip of the tongue with my little outburst just there. I was not expecting Comfy to get a ban coming up through, but your purple side is going to pick first. Jirawe is going to lock in the Slowbro.
Okay, so Slowbro locked in from the get-go. The comfy ban is funny, mate. I'm with you on that one. It's like we know that if they want to go for that, they've already tried to lock in the Zorak Comfy, and of course, when you are up against the corner here as an EU team, you lock that in and you dominate on it. So smart play here to kind of counter that. I like it, buddy. And Toast is gonna lock in the. Oh, bro, they left it until the final moment.
You and I had the same reaction. Because we saw Jose dominate with Leafeon before, and after what we just saw with the Scyther, Leafeon can still be picked by Toast. Bordy's going to pick up Armarouge, which I actually like because it's got a good sustain on it, especially with that Fire Spin. Raika's going to pick up the Lucario, probably another E-Speed Lucario. Is he locking in the Mr. Mime, which I also really like because I want to see if they can box in the Lucario when it's E-speeding. And Christo is providing the rip coming out from Garchomp, however, not really running that rapid fire Scarf.
Yeah, I kind of like the comps that we're seeing here, buddy. I'm with you with Borty. I think that they're expecting some sort of speedster for Jose here, and you know, something like Zorak as their Aura, which is why Fizzy is on the Mr. Mime.
You want to take another guess at that one?
That's going to be a Mariah Donion that we've got coming onto the field, bro, as Jose sticks with the theme.
In case you guys haven't figured out, Tano and I have not slept, but we are pushing ourselves through because of the excitement of these games going on right now. Miraidon plus Sableye combo is actually quite interesting here. Based on what we saw Sableye do with Zorak before, I'm going to put this out to you, right? Because I assume it's not going to be Electro Drift, but what a game it would be if it was a Sableye Electro Drift combination. Champ's going to pick up the Gardevoir. First time we're actually seeing Gardevoir today, I believe. First time we're seeing Miraidon over both days of the UFC. Every other Pokemon we have seen before that. I don't think there's a Pokemon we haven't actually. The Pokemon we have not seen yet is Phalanx. I don't think we've seen a Phalanx just yet. Out of the 78 Pokemon that we have, I believe, I could be wrong, Phalanx is the only one that has not been picked. No, we haven't seen Gyarados yet either.
I mean, yeah, I like the Phalanx though, 'cause it's Beyblade, isn't it? So I like the Unite move, bro. But I also do like this.
It's Dust Devil Formation.
Dust Devil Formation, which, you know, Dust Devil Formation, Let It Rip. They're both pretty good.
It sounds very good to me. Tano and I are running out of words, guys. We've used our entire...
this is our 10th game, bro.
We've used our entire word
vocabulary.
I was about to say catalog. Our catalog of words has been used as we enter our 5th and final game of night 2 of the UF's Pokemon Unite Fight Night. We've got a Sableye Invade coming through. We've got a Miraidon versus a Mr. Mime. A matchup of epic proportions coming to you inside that bottom path. That's Fizzy is dangerously low. Does manage to secure that farm away from Miraidon, as Leafeon does manage to get involved and just shoo the little gremlin out of its own central area.
I'd like to see you go into the central area here, grab that blue buff and the little extra farm that is in there, but it looks like they're going to stay in the lane, and the thing is, it leaves that experience to be, not do anything with it, mate. You definitely need to get Ralts online as soon as possible, but it looks like instead Toast is going to go show face in the top lane and grab the rest of it, recognizing that they're going to need some assistance down here in the bottom lane.
The minute you said I'd like to see you go in and grab that extra buff, I thought you were talking to me. I'm like, buddy, I'm not playing. I'm behind the desk with you. As we got a fight taken over these middle Altares. Slowbro takes down Mr. Mime. Curly is in a bit of bother here, but does have access to that side shot. Leafeon gonna get caught by the surf, and Toast goes down in quick succession. There's a combination play coming out from Sableye once again, but Suicune is here to try and put the freeze on any kind of offense that Anomaly is trying to come up with.
Fantastic rotation from Narami there. They were needing the assistance down in this bottom lane. A great engage comes out yet again from Sableye players. Ayami manages to find you with the stun, but they don't get the KO in return as Ayami gets back onto the pad with, I didn't even see any health in that HP pool, bro, but they still managed to survive. And now Anomaly have got the lead as the 8-minute birds spawn in.
That eject button was so aggressive that I could just feel like we were back in solo queue again. They just want to take out the little time we grant. As we got a fight going on, Charge Beam is just going to pick up all of that farm. Lucario is dangerously low. Narami possibly looking for a KO, but gets warded off by Ayami on that Sableye. Sableye's here as well. Gonna make the Curlier pay and pick up a KO. Sableye players, you gotta watch these players play, because Sableye is putting on a show, going after Mr. Mime right now.
Oh, Fizzy though, perfectly timed with the confusion to throw them away, and with the assistance of Leafeon finding that KO, Clifty Stack is going to be able to take the lead in the bottom path. Are they going to go to the battle toy? Ayami trying to break some ankles here. You will throw everything they have to shut down this Sableye.
I cannot. That's the second time in the space of 20 seconds that Ayame has gotten away with criminal activity right now. That little gremlin is causing a problem. 12-7 remaining on this basement tier 1 pad. Gardevoir's gonna evolve into the Curly is gonna evolve into the elegant Gardevoir as we see what objective is gonna go on in either lane. Regieleki is topside, secured by Lucario. Narami has to pop that eject, but the scoop from Garchomp doesn't let them go too far. The Confuse not gonna stop Narami from picking up a KO streak of 2, but Charge Beam is going to chunk down a big amount of damage as we do see a Registeel getting captured for Clifty Stack.
Yeah, the difficulty is now, Anomaly had a fantastic early game, mate, but now Clifty Stack have got their Pokemon online. We've hit that stage where Garchomp is here, Gardevoir is here, nearly close to their Unite move, and Leafeon's hit level 11. Now they get the objectives, and they break the pad with some KOs to boot, mate.
That was personal. They trapped Sableye inside a Whirlpool, and Mr. Mime just pushed it into another life. And by that, I mean get sent back to Nurse Joy. But I like this. You is now making access of that blue buff to allow Gardevoir to get a few more levels online. That Fairy Singularity is such a great Unite move, especially when they decide to clump up, because they're going to need to if they want to protect Miraidon from Leafeon. Right now, Recur probably going to try and take a fight inside this bottom path. Psyshock's going to make sure that Narami gets sent back to the Pokemon Center. Got to take a quick trip to Nurse Joy, but Garchomp is just going to run away, but it's going to get caught with the Psyshock, and now into the Livid Outrage, going to pick up a berry. Sableye is going to steal another berry, keeping itself alive, but the Unite move sends Garchomp right back to its home pad.
Yeah, they're going to get healing, getting back to that pad and come back into the fight because guess what? Toaster's cleaned up Anomaly anyway, so if anything, they got an express route back to the home pad for some healing, bro, as Clifty Stack rotate back into this bottom lane and look like they want to push this T1 pad. Toast does get the stun coming on through from Ayame, and they're trying to take them down. It is going to find it with the Lucario KO, but in return, Garchomp is going to get some revenge, manages to get out of the sight of that enhanced charge beam coming through as Narami goes on the flank as well. Slow beam has been used to take out you, and now they're not going to have that for this next team fight, which is huge, but Borte uses the Psycho Boom to blow Narami back to the Pokemon Center.
I mean, the combo plays just coming out right now. I never thought I would see these combo plays come out from Sableye with Zoroark, let alone Lucario, but now these teams are going to fight over a Registeel. Slowbro's not going to let Garchomp in. He's going to try and scoop his way up. Mr. Mime is there as well, but it does not matter. You can try and keep him out as much as you want. Garchomp is still going to secure that as much as you can. Aura Cannon into that backline. Gardevoir has to eject forward. They're going to try and put pressure on Miraidon. It does come in with the Emerald two-step. Lucario is going to try and have to make a decision here. Gets caught in the Whirlpool. Narami does a fantastic job of body blocking. Toast goes down to the Sableye as Narami now tries to pick up a very low, nice little... I think that had to be a basic.
Yeah, I think it did. And Showtime, just the KO Sableye there is a bit ridiculous coming out from Mr. Mime, buddy. Of course, you're at that stage in the game where you want to use your Unite move before you can't use it anymore to have it for Rayquaza. But that's absolutely ridiculous play from Mr. Mime.
I mean, the Mime Showtime's got to be one of my favorite Unite moves. The stun, the ability to just stop the entire team's movement in their tracks is invaluable right now for this team. Sableye has access to Unite. We've got 3.5 minutes. You're going to try and cause problems for Narami. The Confuse comes in. Garchomp is in. Had to use the eject. Went for the limited outrage, but got caught in the slow beam. The endless ice spikes into the Fairy Singularity. I have no idea what happened there, but all I know is that Slowbro got sent back to the Pokemon Center alongside Lucario. And now Clefty Stack going to make a push for this tier 2 where Regieleki has walked in.
260 points to 148, 310 points now. We've got a minute until Rayquaza is on the field. The final one of the night before we do have Groudon coming next week, buddy. But right now, it's still anyone's game because, yes, they do have the lead on the side of Clifty Stack and they definitely have levels, but we still have a team fight to go on and that will decide the game. There's T1 goals still up on the side of Clifty Stack. That's easy Hundo Burger territory.
They can play this game slow, but Sableye is not going to let it happen. Takes a big chunk of damage from Gardevoir with that side shot combination coming through. They're going to try and secure this Reg Ice, which is not a bad Reggie heading on into this, but no traditional healer on the side of Clefty Stack. But it's going to be helpful to see what they can figure out. 12 seconds to go. Could we get an early team fight? Toaster's looking for something. They're level 15 already. Gardevoir has the nuking ability to keep Anomaly out of the Rayquaza pit. 2 minutes. Final game. Game number 5. Rayquaza is here. 188 to 310. Who is going to blink first? Clifty Stack is in the lead by about 120-ish points. This is it. Can they do the reverse sweep, my friend? Spartan Tano, it's all very calm right now before it starts to pop.
Now we're getting some fights breaking out across the board, buddy. We have to back on up on the side of Christo, going back to that home base to get their healing. This is the advantage Anomaly are looking for. They need to push it right now as they try and see if they can target them here. They've taken down Toast. Oh my god, Anomaly are finding the carries. There's the ice spikes that are going to come out from the Suicune though, and Narami may have swapped this game back to their side. They've taken down the Armarouge and they've managed to find the Inteleon, the Lucario, and now Anomaly have lost 3 of their carries. There's the 4th. It's all down to just Miraidon. Jose goes back. Clifty Stack end this with an ace on the side of Anomaly.
I mean, that is a team wipe with 53 seconds left to go, but the patience here to know that they are in the lead. They have one extra goal zone up as opposed to Anomalies. Anomalies have 45 seconds to come in here and try and do something. Even if Sableye went for a stack, they can't do much. The rip is on. Emerald two-step is going to take out Armored. Lucario is going to e-speed their way in, try to do something. The walls are just absolutely nothing to this Lucario with the amount of speed that it's got. But there is Sableye going for a dunk. That's going to be 80 points. It's not going to be enough, but now they're looking to try and defend, because look at where Slowbro is going, look at where Narami's going. There's going to be a counter score, but who is left to defend? Miraidon is left there to defend Narami's goal attempt. 9 seconds to go. This could be close, but no, I don't think any points are going to go in from either team.
Which just means that Clifty Stack are going to commit the reverse sweep here in the INGAGE Unite Fight Club, and they're going to take the victory 3-2 over Anomaly after being on match point by the second game.
I mean, they did an incredible job. I keep saying incredible job. I need to find a better phrase of words. The mental fortitude to do a reverse sweep, to come back from 2-0 down and be at match point at 3 different points in this entire match. Let's look at the stats. Toast with the 92, Narami with the 63. Fantastic job. They were just in the lead and controlled from the moment the game started.
The thing is, mate, a reverse sweep is one of the most difficult things to pull off in esports, primarily because of how much it takes for mental capacity, really. You are down on match point already. It takes a lot to lock in as a squad and come back from that. Now, we shouldn't take anything away from Anomaly, because the reason why this game, why this set has been UCS quality Pokemon Unite is because of how good both of these teams are. And I think they've both made a statement for their individual players to really be picked up by anyone here in the EU region. Toast, very impressive. As far as I'm concerned, one of the, if not the best jungler here in the EU region. I think they're a very exciting player, and we've witnessed it in this very set. And Narami alone showcasing their support capabilities again, Lobo. If it wasn't for Narami, they don't win that Rayquaza fight in that final fight there, mate.
No, 100%. I agree with you 100%. It's just such a good attempt, and it's such a great comeback for this. Again, we keep running out of just descriptive words to what we're doing here in Pokemon Unite. The comps through Fearless Draft, we're seeing Pokemon that we usually wouldn't see. We saw Sableye twice today. We've seen Mr. Mime. We've seen Galarian Rapidash as well. So it's all just going incredibly well for both of these squads. So I'm super excited to see what the rest of the Unite Fight Club has in store. But buddy, we have just seen 2 best of 5s go the distance. And crazy, one with a reverse sweep. My God.
It's insane, mate. Like this, I love this game so much. I love this game. I love this region. I love the players. I love the viewers. I love everyone that gets involved here in Pokemon Unite, and that alone just showcases why I love it so much, mate. That reverse sweep with 2 fantastic teams, and before that, another game 5 with 2 incredible teams as well. Boy, it doesn't get any better than that, Lobo.
I mean, I will say this, that, you know, you are from the EU region, but however, most of the casting that I have had a chance to do in my Pokemon Unite career, apart from OCE, the most common region that I do get to cast is the EU region. And I'm starting to get to know these players and understand these players so much more. I would love to meet some of these players as well, just have a chat to them, because casting their games has been an absolute privilege. It's been an absolute, to sit here with you behind the caster's desk and talk about the growth of these players, seeing them on the UCS stage when you and I watch it, and then getting to cast them in these grassroots style tournaments where they're still here trying to make an improvement, trying to up their game, and they haven't lost sight of their main target, which was, you know, top places in UCS, win regionals, win an NAIC, win a EUIC, go to an international event, and that top one, which is win worlds. It's so incredible to watch these players grow, compete. And I want to thank all of the 20 players that competed today from across both of these, all 4 teams. You guys put on an absolute banger for Unite Fight Club Night 2. This is it. We're only getting started, guys. Be very, keep your eyes on Twitter, because we have an announcement that will be dropping, I think, in the next couple of days or after the weekend before the next Unite Fight Club. So it's going to be a good one. Once again, we're going to do our shout outs because we're going to get out of here. Thank you to everyone that was watching. Thank you to all the players. Thank you to our observers. Thank you to our admins. Thank you to VK, who's doing the production, who's in our ears and providing all this love and amazing goodness for you guys. Thank you to Zen, our tournament director. Thank you to Christo as well for helping us set all of this up and being the liaison between the players and ourselves. Big shout outs to HelloFresh for sponsoring this event that we're doing. And a big thank you to my co-caster, Mr. Spartan Tano. We are going to be your voices for the Unite Fight Club going forward. If one of us can't make it, we'll get somebody else, but it's going to be us going forward. I think that's be all the thank yous, Mr. Tano. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I agree, buddy. I mean, I think you deserve a round of applause for, it's currently very early in the morning in Australia, but here Lobo is putting in the commitment for your region, guys. So let's give him some 07s and GGs in the chat. But yeah, that's going to be it from us. Hashtag TanoLoboEUIC. Love you all lots. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at, peeps. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.